What's going on, guys? I just wanted to, first of all, welcome you live. And secondly, the podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Manscaped. If you go to manscaped.com/RBP, you can get the Lawnmower 5.0 trimmer. And you can also get my favorite beard trimmer, which I love because it doesn't have any extra attachments. It's got one attachment and then a dial so that you can adjust on your own, and that way you don't lose all your attachments and all that shit. Now, Manscaped also has a lot of different body washes, boxers, toiletry bags, the whole bit. So anyway, listen, support Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/RBP so you can support the podcast. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you use my code RBP. Thank you, guys. And without further ado, let's get started. Hello, hello.
Yo,
What's going on?
what's good, boys?
We're live on YouTube.
Ben, that's a smile and a half.
What'd you say?
So, Ben, that's a smile and a half. You had a strong smile going on.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I'm a happy boy. I'm a happy boy.
Why are you happy?
Life is good. Why shouldn't I be happy?
Life is life is good. Sometimes.
You should raise the glass.
Always, fucking always, man. Like, look at us.
Cheers. Cheers, James.
Why is yours blurred out? Is it like illegal? It's a body. It's a body.
It's not branded. No.
It's not ESN.
Yeah, exactly. I have to drink ESN water.
What's going on, boys?
Not a lot. How are you guys?
Not bad. James, do you eat the entire apple or just the white shit?
I don't eat the core like you guys or whoever does. One of you who eats the core? Someone does, doesn't they? Yeah. No, I'm not a core guy. I get it. Listen, if you're in public and you want to not have rubbish, then you can just eat all the.
Have you ever eaten the core?
Yeah,
I don't think I have.
I've done both.
Ben, are you a core guy? You know, James, can I fill you in on some information I wasn't even aware of?
Please fill me in.
There is like 100 million probiotic cells in an apple. You only get about 10 million of them if you don't eat the core. If you don't eat the core,
10 million is still a lot, isn't it?
The core is where all the good shit is.
10 million is still a lot.
It'll be the core from now on then.
Ben, do you eat the whole apple, or just the white shit?
I'm honestly like 60% of the time, 40% of the time I'll eat the core, the other 60 I won't. I don't know.
That's a weird. That's a weird.
I don't know why. Yeah, I have no explanation of why I chop and change.
I will say this.
It depends on the apple, actually. It depends if I'm enjoying it and I want to keep going, I'll keep going.
Sure.
And if I'm like, no, that wasn't as enjoyable as I was hoping, fuck it.
Also, another thing, you know, when you chop an apple up like in slices, I would say I probably eat a higher portion of the rate of the overall doing that. I'll get closer to the core and the pit doing that than I do when I'm eating myself. Do you agree?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It's like, do you ever have when you play football at half time, they bring you oranges they used to cut them into segments? They were so much better than if you just peel the thing.
You guys did that. You guys did that in the UK too, eh?
Yeah. That's the normal occurrence on a Sunday league football.
Yeah, it's so funny that everybody does that. Yeah, it was like normal for us here too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got roasted for it pretty bad on the other podcast. Apparently,
you got reasons.
Everybody thought it was crazy, but then in the comment section, it seems like a European thing more than a North American thing. Okay. Seems like more Europeans are apple core eaters.
Well, Americans are wasteful, eh? They're like, fuck it.
You get bags for bags in the shopping center. Literally, that's one thing that blows my mind. Every time I go shopping in America, they give you 100 bags,
as many as you want, more than you need.
Americans are wasteful. That's what you say.
Yeah.
So true.
Don't say it, Martin. Martin's on. Don't say it. He's American.
Just say it to Martin.
Martin, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Good, boys. Good. How are we?
You look a lot more shredded than the last time you were on here.
A little bit.
Your skin on the shoulders looking like oniony.
Fish. White fish.
Are you doing a lot of white fish?
Actually, I'm not doing any fish right now, honestly.
Is that something you guys are like saving as a last minute, like crank up the heat, like, or are you just not going to put it in at all?
I'm honestly, I really like fish, so it wouldn't bother me. But he hasn't pulled that trigger yet. So we definitely have pushed food lower than we have in the past. So I'm excited to see. Just did another drop with food. I'm excited to see what kind of detail it digs out. So.
Okay, well, listen, you like fish, but do you like apple cores? Do you eat the apple core when you're eating an apple?
This is so funny. I was listening to the podcast last week. I never have,
Okay.
but your thinking, your thought process, I've
See?
definitely thought that like 1,000 times. Like I've literally like gnawed around it to the point
Right.
at which I probably should.
You might as well just pop it. Yeah, might as well just eat it. You know what, James?
Especially in prep when you're starving.
Yeah.
Just
the core. Yeah.
when you said you get an apple, I guess it makes
James,
sense.
James, one guy called me out in my DMs. He's like, yeah, all the probiotic bullshit. You literally ate the core because you're too lazy to get up and throw it away. I'm like, this motherfucker.
makes a fair point.
Motherfucker knows me. That guy knows me really well.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, a win's a win.
That's what I'm saying. So, Martin, you are the man of the hour. You gotta, and I noticed you're wearing a Hostile shirt. Do you want to fill in our guests on the live stream to what's going on?
Yeah. I am officially the newest Hostile athlete. So
yes, sir.
We kicked things off today. We've been in talks for we've been in talks for quite a while. Honestly, we started chatting after Detroit. I know that there's been a few people in the comments that were they were really hoping for this. We did the 5-day ad campaign.
Yeah.
There was some subtle hints in there. If you guys really followed
sacrifice,
you really you kind of knew or maybe caught on a little bit. But then to kick things off, and finish things off today, we officially announced our partnership going into the Olympia. I'm super excited about it. This has been something, honestly. Fouad and I started talking back in 2020 about me being a Hostile athlete, and we just couldn't make things work then, and now it's come full circle. So it was about time, and honestly, I'm super excited for this. This is something I think we've both really passionate about bodybuilding. We've both had kind of ups and downs and been like the black sheep, if you will. So it's kind of cool that we've partnered up, and I'm really excited for this, man. It's gonna be.
What were you a pro when I first? You weren't even a pro when I first reached out to you, were you? So I think Martin might have been the very first athlete I reached out to. Ben, were you on board already when I reached out to Martin, or no?
I don't think
you declined me.
What's that?
You declined.
You declined me.
No,
remember when you took?
It's not your time, Ben.
I declined you. Wait, I declined you for your own good. So Ben,
oh, thanks, mate. I love it. That's awesome. Cheers.
No. Let me tell
you. Good. You don't want to be over here.
Let me tell everybody the story so they don't so they know you're being a dick. So Ben wanted to come to Hostile, but he was with a different company, which I won't name at the time. And he was getting paid almost double what we could pay him. So I was like,
still more than what you're paying me.
No, it's not. So I was like, Ben, I can't pay you that. And Ben was like, I don't care. I want to be with Hostile. I'm like, I appreciate that, but I'm not going to sign you. You got to keep that money because it's good money. So when we got to the point where I could get him closer, then he came over. But I didn't. It doesn't sound as bad as Ben's making it sound. I was doing it for
I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. And whoever's in the comments, it wasn't Redcon. Just so I don't want to say who it was.
Yeah, it wasn't. I remember.
It wasn't.
The company's actually gone now, so it's not even. It doesn't.
Is it? Is it gone? Anyway,
I think so.
The point is, I think I reached out to you and you were still an amateur, Martin. And
absolutely.
And we couldn't get. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it was after 2019 North Americans. I just gotten second. Right. And you reach out and you're like, hey man, I'm about to kick this thing off. You're somebody that I think really embodies what the brand motto is and everything like that. And we had some talks, and then honestly, I mean, not long after that, that's when you signed Brett. So it's kind of like, the whole crew we all have the same mentality. We all train our asses off, and that's why we all are best pals, honestly.
Yeah. No, yeah, see, Ben, I got a good eye for talent. This motherfucker, I was trying to sign him before he was in a pro. Now he's now he's top 10, top 5 potentially at the Olympia, top 6, who knows, top 4.
I do credit you with that. I do say you have got an eye for talent. You do pick a good winner.
Yeah. Have we picked anybody that has not landed? We can't mention it. We can't mention. We probably shouldn't mention it. Yeah.
Pause
No,
and carry this
to be
conversation
fair,
on.
out of everyone I've seen, I think they've all been pretty good. Fucking
they all kind of come up all right.
Yeah, like fucking you put Justin Shire out in the middle of nowhere, and that that guy's physique is crazy. No one saw that coming.
Yeah. Anyway, we're very excited to have you, Martin, and I think it's going to be a good partnership. For those people wondering, it's a multi-year deal. And
that's where some people have heard the word multi come out, and they're gonna, it's a multi-million.
No.
For those wondering, it's a multi-million dollar deal.
Multi-million dollar, multi-year deal. Yeah, Martin's getting paid the big bucks. No, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. He's on board for a while, which made me happy because we don't want any ins and outs anymore. So anyway,
the multi deals as well. The good thing is, it's like gives you enough time to really grow together.
Well, that's the thing.
I see these year deals, and I see that, and then it comes to an end. Sometimes I just feel like you don't get enough time to really find your spot in each other's space.
You know, it's funny. I agree with you, James, but at the same time, like thinking of it as an athlete. There's two ways to think of it as an athlete. Like for those people like watching the podcast who've never had this opportunity to be signed to a brand or anything like that. There's two ways to look at it. If you're confident in your ability to earn, you can sign a 1-year deal and then go, you know what? I want to see how things go from here. I want to see how the company utilizes me. I want to see what the partnership is like, and then I'll re-sign after a year. The problem with that is if you don't earn and you are, let's say you're a little bit, I don't want to say delusional, but let's say your promise is more than you can actually bring in.
Yeah.
Then you run the risk of the company letting you go after the year.
For sure.
So it's like, some athletes like to play it safe where they're like, look, I'm going to sign X amount of years. And some people like to play it where they're like, well, I can do whatever I want after a year. So it gives me the freedom. So it's kind of like, and I've had both, you know, like Samson signed multi-year deals. Sam signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of does what's right for them.
For sure.
How do you navigate these things, James? Like when you sign with a company, do you ever do 1 year? Or is it usually?
I'd like to have a 2-year deal because, without going into details, I just like that security.
It's kind of like the safety we were talking about.
Yeah. And also, I do feel like to find your feet within that space and that brand takes a little while to like kind of even become someone that people familiarize the two.
Yeah.
Because it depends. The one thing that I'd say about a brand like yours, like Hostile, it has such a strong narrative that I think people become very familiar with who's with it immediately. Yeah. And I think that's one of your strengths is that, you know, it's kind of like the minute someone's in the door, you already look at someone like Martin, you're like, fit the bill. And it's like, bam, straight away, Hostile, which is really cool. It's kind of hard to do with some other, you know, companies that are out there because they don't have the same kind of message as such.
Yeah.
Not, you know, not downplaying any companies, but yeah, so that's why
they're just companies with products, right?
Yeah. So you kind of have to make yourself something within the company to create your own kind of like audience and space. Whereas you share an audience now, like Hostile and Martin have this alliance, and it's a strong alliance, and it's a really cool one. And I think that's the biggest strength about the brand like your own. And I feel like, you know, Redcon had that back in the day. It was one of those ones that had that, like especially in the earlier years for sure. So it's nice to see companies that are like that actually still around.
You know what I think? You know what I think happens, James, is I think as companies grow, because like, you know, you have like looking at the business, you have like your very, very hardcore bodybuilding fans, and you have like the next circle out that like bodybuild, but they're not hardcore. Then you have the next circle out that's like weekend warriors. They're not like hardcore bodybuilding at all, but they love to they go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then you have like everybody else who just does like cardio or has some active lifestyle. Yeah. And I think what happens is, as like take Redcon, for example, you've captured this first circle. Now let's go to the next circle. Let's go to the next circle. Let's go to the next circle. But I think the problem is as they're going out in circles, they're losing the center one.
That's how I feel.
Right?
Dilution occurs, and then
you start to lose your message because you're trying to now
have a message for everybody.
Yeah, your message is now for those weekend warriors instead of like that center circle, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what happens, because you see it happen with a lot of brands like Muscle Tech, BSN, Redcon, like ProLab, like going way back, like ProLab.
CNP did it here in the UK, didn't it, Ben? Remember?
Yeah. I remember they used to do massive bulk tubs or everything, and that was like the hardcore bodybuilders.
They had Dorian's face.
All about it.
Yeah, they had Dorian Yates' face slapped on it saying Dorian Yates approved on everything. Proper appeal to the bodybuilding. And then one year they just decided to start doing cyclists and stuff and focused on that. And it just plummeted. Like no one bought it anymore. Like not any of us anymore.
I think the mistake that companies make is they overestimate how much the average public workout guy uses.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'll take my brother, for example, right? He's like an average, like likes to work out on the weekends kind of thing guy.
Yeah.
He'll go through a tub of protein every 3 months.
Exactly. And he might take if he ever takes a pre-workout, it might be once a blue moon.
Right.
Like, it's not even every fucking time. And if they're only training 2 days a week, their consumption's lower anyway. Like us bodybuilders, we're in the gym 5 days a week taking pre-workout double scoop every fucking time.
Right.
We're the consumers.
I think what I'd like to do if we ever got that big, which I can't even see right now, but if we ever got that big, I'd like to always make sure we have the inner circle covered. Like that side always is there for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Animal's done a good job of that.
Yeah.
They always.
I feel like they went away a little, even drifted about back in 2020, and they've started to come back.
They started to come back. Yeah.
I suppose what you could do with something like that is
they're going to go bankrupt if they didn't go back.
Probably hurt them. I suppose what you do is you keep your hardcore line and make sure that's always present. And then if you wish to expand a little bit, it's fine, but just don't get rid of the hardcore line.
But you know what I think it is, James? It's like you said earlier about the messaging. I don't think it's about necessarily having the products, because I think Redcon, for example, or BSN or whatever, they still have the products, but they don't
talk about it.
Yeah, like I think when your forward-facing message changes, it doesn't matter if you still have the product. People are like, well, they changed their attitude.
Also, who are your athletes? That's why your athletes matter.
That's what I say. The face matters, right? Because you take Redcon, they started with Dallas. Then obviously, they lost him. Then they pulled in like Luke and then James, and they had competitive open class bodybuilding. And like, I'm not shitting on classic guys or whatever else, because Redcon now, they brought in Kai, but then Kai kind of retired, and now they're heavily on like the classic guys, and physique guys are more their actual mainstay athletes. Yeah. I think if you always have top open guys as the face of your brand, it's gonna keep you honest.
I wonder why. Like, it would be interesting to get like someone like Aaron Singerman on the podcast and ask him, like, I mean, obviously there's some unfortunate things that happen with Redcon with Luke and Dallas, but I'm curious to understand why they went away from a formula that was working for them. Because now it's like they've signed like Deion Sanders, and I'm like, I don't know how fruitful is that relationship,
I wonder if I know Aaron a little bit, not a lot, but he's always been super good to me, and I know he treated Ben well and Luke well. He's actually fantastic to us, to be fair. I just wonder if it's like people in your ear. I wonder if it's just people in your ear telling you I can make your business bigger, and they're the wrong people, and they tell you that they can do something really good of your business and make it grow. Influence. I feel like the wrong people.
But you also don't. But how does that company look on paper? It might look fucking 10 times what it was now.
Well, I'm just
we're just so enclosed in bodybuilding that we're like, oh, it's bullshit. But they're in fucking Walmart.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm by no means saying that they're doing bad. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking more about companies like okay, take BSN for example. BSN went away from bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And now they've come back. They came back for a reason. Yeah. They're not like making billions of dollars and then decide, oh, let's go back to bodybuilding. No, they're like, we must have lost something. Let's go back and get it. Or like, even if you go even further back, like if I look at like ProLab, when they stopped doing like bodybuilding stuff, I felt like they just disappeared. I don't see their names on cyclist stuff. I don't see their names on like endurance athlete stuff. They all of a sudden were just gone. So I wonder, I guess I'm just thinking out loud, like, is the bodybuilding community so strong in the supplement space that you need it to keep your business really thriving? That's kind of
and also if the owner of the company, they originate from this field, and then they start to dabble in something that isn't them, maybe the connection fades.
You lose a connection, yeah.
Yeah, like you're not sure what you're doing anymore.
Isn't Raw and Revive kind of doing that?
No, I think they're fit. I think they really fit their brand though, because Chris, even though he's hardcore, like we know to be Chris and to train like Chris and to look like Chris, you have to have a hardcore side to you. He doesn't really portray that. He portrays more of like a everyman, like now he's got a child, and like they're very like they're not hardcore with their marketing. They're more of like a chill vibe.
Yeah.
No,
So
but at the start, it was like Nick and Raw, right?
Yeah. But once Chris came on, they kind of start to change.
Cleaned up. Yeah.
They changed toward Chris's more towards Chris's personality, I think.
Also, if you look at like what Matt's doing now, like he's super duper fit. He's like Superman now, isn't he? He's like can literally cycle for 1,000,000 miles and all that kind of.
Matt.
Yeah, like Jansen like has that kind of. He's changed a lot as a person in a good way. And I imagine the brand kind of, it feels like it coincides with a little bit of his lifestyle as well.
Right.
Which again, the owner, part owner, whatever it may be, it kind of determines the direction, doesn't it? Depending on their own wants and needs.
I love people who say this. This guy in the comment section here wrote, "Food is the best supplement." I'm like, food is not a supplement. Food is
food.
A basic necessity. Supplements are supplements.
Yeah.
Supplements
are nice in between.
I want to touch on this a little bit just because I've like kind of been with like both sides, right? Like I've been with a hardcore brand, and then I've also been with like a top selling Walmart brand like Rise.
Yeah.
And like being in those meetings, like with Rise and stuff, like the thinking of those brands is more towards like how do they build their legitimacy? So like Rise is trying to build like it's based off of legitimacy by doing like collaborations and things like that, and then getting like young influencers to influence 16-year-old kids.
Right.
That then maybe it translates into like their parents and stuff using those things.
Right.
So that's kind of like their marketing ploy. And I think that's kind of what BSN tried to do when they went away from bodybuilding.
Right.
But when you do that, you lose so much legitimacy in the actual product itself. Like people stop believing like that's a high quality protein when you're trying to just like pitch it because of XYZ instead of like this is a pure isolate. Instead of like this is the best tasting, tastes like ice cream, XYZ. So like
right.
Bodybuilders bring legitimacy to the supplements by saying like this is a real supplement that's going to get you results. And I think that's why if you go away from that, you kind of like there's always some sort of downfall in sales because then the products don't seem as good. On the flip side of that, they're not looking for necessarily what we are in a company where we want someone to buy our product every month, buy a jug of protein, every month buy Bloodshot, every month buy their cyclodextrin and their intra and have a whole lineup from us.
Yeah.
Their idea is more like when the person walks by it, sees the shelf,
right?
They remember Ring Pop. They love the way Ring Pop tastes, so they buy it one time. And if you have it in every storefront and every person walks past that shelf, then hopefully you're just getting numbers at that point. So it's kind of like you want to build a culture and a brand that has a backing, or do you just want to build a brand and hope that people support it throughout, I guess?
Yeah. They're working on a high turnover rate business. We don't care how many people stay or our return rate. We don't necessarily care about that. We just want the largest circle possible of people buying our stuff. That way, if some come and some go, we still have a massive circle of people to choose from. And like you said, it's actually a really good point, Martin. A lot of companies now go for an influencer that has 1 million followers, right? Like we did it with Sam, right? The difference with Sam is he's an actual bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's genuine.
So if you take an influencer that isn't necessarily an actual bodybuilder. You're capturing their audience, but like you said, you're not capturing the legitimacy. You're just capturing the numbers.
Mm.
So I think that's where the hardcore bodybuilding circle is different, because now someone's like, okay, Martin knows what he's talking about. James knows what he's talking about. Ben knows what he's talking about. We can trust that there's some legitimacy and credibility to the product. So it makes sense. Anyway, switching gears, Martin, you are now like something like 20 fucking days out.
Yeah, hold on, I'll tell you the minutes and the hours.
We won.
Put the minutes and the hours. Yeah.
21 and 6
days,
hours, right?
6 hours, 36 minutes. I'll be on stage.
How you don't seem, it's your first Olympia. You don't seem nervous. You don't seem tired. You seem like you're doing fucking great. Why aren't you fucked up like everybody else?
I love this, bro. I'm living a dream, dude. Sometimes I'm like, wake up. No, but it's exciting, bro. Like I'm definitely running on excitement some days. We're definitely pushing, like, this is the hardest I've dieted probably since, like, maybe I won my pro card, or maybe even like ever, honestly.
Yeah.
We're still not doing cardio, but we're pushing my food low, man. Like I've done days of like 50 carbs and stuff, and you guys know, like, I was doing like 300 as my low days before. So like,
yeah,
we're digging into this, man, and like leaning into it, and it's so exciting, man. Like I've put on so much tissue in such a short period of time. Like I'm gonna be up like 5 pounds, maybe 4 or 5 pounds, and like better conditioning. So I just went to Pittsburgh. I got my feedback from Tyler, and they're like,
can I just tell
pumped,
can I just tell the audience, so when for those of you who don't know, the NPC office is in Pittsburgh, so they ask usually anybody from the Olympia lineup to come and visit the office, do some posing. They give you tips, Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so like all the athletes usually, Ben or James, you guys can correct me, but I'm pretty sure all of the athletes have the opportunity that are competing.
Yeah, some are like, if you make a big noise on the scene, obviously, then you're more likely to get asked. But I'm pretty sure that if you're qualified for Olympia and you wish to, then you have that access. But yeah, like Martin made a big wave immediately. So it's in the interest of theirs, obviously, to then bring him in because he's popular and they know he's really well.
It's very constructive that time you
get
with them.
Yeah. I went with you went with Hunter. I went with Samson.
Yeah, I went last week.
Yeah, so I can
do you know what what's funny? Like, there's a little like pinch me, like mine said, like kind of like pinch me moment. I'm sat there in the posing room, and like Hunter was posing and Tyler was posing him, and then Jim's like elbowing me, like, "Oh, you see this, you see that," and like he's like fucking super excited about like bodybuilding. He's just
Are you talking about JM or Tyler?
No, Jim, man.
Oh, Jim. Yeah.
So JM was filming. Tyler was on the right of the camera, calling the poses and correcting. And Jim is sat next to me, and he's just like elbowing me every time. He's like, hey, and he's like in my ear the whole time. It's funny as shit.
Jim is a lot more like us than I thought, because he's so quiet. Because he's so quiet publicly. But
yeah, sorry, if you see him at a show or something, you don't really get that vibe of him. But once you're in a room with him,
Martin, sorry, we cut you off. So I just want to tell people why you were in Pittsburgh. But so you went to Pittsburgh. Go on from there. What?
Yeah. So like you said, if you qualify for the Olympia, the offer is on the table. If you do qualify for the Olympia and you haven't gone, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, go. Like, it's an awesome opportunity, and all it is they're just trying to make you better for the Olympia, trying to tell you what you need to do X, Y, Z. To show up at your best, So after New York, you guys know my feedback. They wanted a better front lat spread. They wanted a better side tricep, and they wanted me to not round so much in that back lat spread. They wanted me to, get more straight up and down and not round so much. So those were things that I've really been working on my mobility. So those were the things I really wanted to display, as well as the added tissue in the chest and arms. And so my feedback from them was like, they can see that I've definitely added tissue my posing is drastically better, especially my side tricep. I actually found out that my psoas was like completely locked on that side, and that's what was making my abs look kind of funny.
It happens a lot to bodybuilders.
Yeah, so we got that. We're working on it. It still locks up like every 2-3 days, but we're getting it unlocked every time, and it looks really good when it is unlocked. So that was fixed. They were really impressed with that. Really impressed with how my chest and arms have come up. I definitely put a lot of tissue on in those areas, and then my feedback from them was like, we see your conditioning at the same place that it was when you guest posed at Pittsburgh. So that was a week out from New York.
Yes,
and we still have like 20, at that point I had 25 days. So I got a lot more time, and I would, they were happy with my New York look. So we know that we can bring something better than that. And that's just really exciting. So it was an awesome opportunity. Went out there, like I said, got my feedback, got to train. Like Ben said, it was really cool. Jim was there training when I was training, and watching me train, and came over to me and was like, he was giving me shit about how white I was, but he was telling me like it's so crazy, like your skin looks like saran wrap and you can see everything working underneath. I'm really impressed with your conditioning and excited to see you at the Olympia. And so it was an awesome opportunity, man. It was really cool. And then I flew home on Wednesday and got off the plane and went and trained hamstrings with Brett for JTV. So it's been like one thing after another this week, which has been awesome,
It's funny, you've been sending me some updates this last like few weeks. I'm shocked at how fast your body changed. Like just I think the first set of photos you sent me was maybe 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 max. And I can't, every set of pictures, I'm like, how is that happening that quickly? So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess on 50 grams of carbs, but the problem is I don't see you flattening out.
No, if you are in my close circle and you get to see pictures every day, you will be able to tell when I'm flat. But if not, you're gonna argue with me and tell me I'm dumb and I'm not flat and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I swear, like I promise. Today I'm nice and full, so I'm definitely round and big. But even on those days when I'm not, like that one day you were like, "Did you have a cheat meal?" I was like, "No, actually, I did 100 today."
Yeah, I thought you did a high carb day or cheat meal or something, but okay. I want to read this comment from Annette Burney. Hi from Dublin, your biggest Irish fan here. Hello, Annette. 50-year-old female professor of physiology. My question is, do you guys see a role for Ozempic or other new appetite suppression drugs to help bodybuilders with their hunger during prep? I have my thoughts on it. Ben, you're the coach of the group, so do you want to touch on it first? Do you have any thoughts on it?
So I'm on the fence on it, really. My answer on it on most things is everything's a tool that can be used or abused, right? I haven't seen enough negatives to say you shouldn't be using it, considering all the other stuff we use, put it that way, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna be running Tren and fucking Halo, and then we're go, we should use a Ozempic or a GLP agonist then because it slows down in the gut. I've yet to see it do anything truly detrimental to any internal health parameters.
So I'm not I'm not looking at it that way. So Mike Israetel was on this podcast, I don't know, a month ago or something like that, maybe more. Mike was saying that he used it during his prep. And he said he has to, or not has to, but said he enjoyed using it because he gets fucking super hungry when he's on gear. And he's like, I need this.
Everyone gets fucking hungry though, right?
Like, apparently Mike is worse than the average person. So what? let's assume he is. So he's like, I'm on Ozempic, because, or it wasn't Ozempic, it was like the next generation of it. I think it's retitroside or some shit. Anyway, I don't remember. It was the next
retitroside or retiglitide.
It was like 1 or 2 generations up from Ozempic. But anyway, he said it was very beneficial. And like you said, Ben, he's like, use the tools that are available to you. My question is, one, do we understand exactly what it's doing to blunt any type of fat loss, any type of water retention? Like, is it doing anything like that? Do we
I'll,
understand that? And
I'll say
also,
this much: you're gonna have an issue trying to carb up with it, is for sure. So if you're gonna use it, you got to use it like in the bulk of your prep to get the fat off, and when you're in shape, maybe you pull it.
and take it out. Yeah, yeah. I just wonder, like, I've seen some long-term negative effects of it. Stomach paralysis, like just different things. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I personally don't see a place for it in bodybuilding, but I also maybe I'm a little too old school that way. Like, I guess if it can help you get through your prep and help you from binging or eating a bunch of shit.
Trend gets you through prep. Like, what are we talking about here?
No, trend doesn't get you through prep. Trend helps you get shredded, but you don't even have to use trend. It's not the same thing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You don't have to use a Ozempic or a GLP-1.
I don't think trend and Ozempic are the same thing.
I would argue trend is more detrimental to your health than the other,
depending on the dose.
At any dose, for sure.
But we're not talking about health. We're talking about effects on a prep. We don't know. You don't know. You know exactly what trend is going to do for you. You don't know exactly what Ozempic is going to do for you.
I've seen trend skyrocket. I've seen trend skyrocket people's prolactin and E2 to the point where they hold a shit ton of water, so they can't use it. It's individual. Yeah, how does that drug work with that individual? You can't say that.
Yeah, you're right.
I would say there's more studies done on trend than there has been on Ozempic. That's the only argument that Fouad can use.
Yeah.
Agree for sure.
I would say that,
I actually don't
rules.
Go ahead, Martin. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So there's no rules in bodybuilding, but from a moral standpoint, if you will, in bodybuilding, like from my standpoint, is like, I personally don't think bodybuilders should do DMP. I personally don't think bodybuilders should use Ozempic. There's other things that you can do instead, but those two things are very, very dangerous in the fact that, one, you're killing mitochondria, and DMP can also do a lot of other things like reproductive system damage and things like that, thyroid damage for females. So I that's one that I just don't believe in. But then Ozempic, in that same sense, is like, I don't believe in anything that's going to mess up your digestion, because I think that can ruin your entire prep. I watched my best friend have a small digestive problem ruin his entire Olympia prep. Yeah. So in my mind, I don't think that like not being able to deal with hunger because you can't stay out of the fucking pantry is worth killing off your GI to the point at which it truly doesn't move food through it. And then you have this, who knows when it comes back? Like, yeah, it probably will come back and like you can get healthy from it, but like, is that worth it just so you don't have to be hungry? Like, I don't know, smoking nicotine, do a Zyn, or I don't know. Like,
the funny thing about that, Martin, is though, I think for some people, like, staying away from food is actually a serious problem. Like for you, you say it kind of. You say it kind of like
speaking from experience here, by the way.
I'm speaking. It's my no. I mean, I had no problem. I mean, I was hungry when I prepped, but I got through it. But like, I guess in Mike Israetel's like defense, or going along his line of thinking, it's like, if you have a tool that can help, and it's not going to hurt you, then why not? But I think what you're saying, Martin, which I kind of agree with, is it's still a little bit unknown. We still don't really know. We don't really.
I don't like that excuse of, when I diet and I take drugs, then I get really hungry. Everyone's fucking really hungry. Can we just put that one out there? Can we just say everybody's starving?
My view on this is that we live in a time where for some reason there's no one's allowed to be elite.
What do you mean? Explain that.
There's a reason some people rise up and some people don't, because some people are super hardcore and disciplined and want to go the whole length. Right. And some people just ain't built for it. And that's I'm not talking about bodybuilding, I'm talking about any sport. So some people
are you talking about Mike Israetel? You're saying he's not built for it?
Well, anyone who's used it,
Oh, no.
How many tools?
That's the title of this podcast.
Guys,
Someone's going to make a video.
I'm not even. This is not anyone in particular. This is about 100,000.
I know. I'm just joking. Go on.
We're already in a sport that has way too many things that we use, and we probably overcomplicate it as it is. If having to have stuff like that additional again is the only way you get through, then it isn't for you.
Right.
You're not a bodybuilder. You're not a competitive bodybuilder. You're a bodybuilder, but you're not a competitive one, because competition requires sacrifice. And if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, then you'll never be number one. You'll never win, because that's just not for you. You'll be good at something else, like making content.
Can I actually add to that point? Because I think it's such a great point. I have hopefully a couple podcasts coming out after the Olympia to actually prove your point, James.
Yeah.
I think if you have good genetics, the podcasts I'm hoping to be able to get done after the Olympia are going to turn things on their head a little bit in the way guys prep. I can't say too much because I don't know if we're going to be able to get them done, but if we can get them done, guys are going to start thinking about preps in a very, very different way. In the traditional, because I don't know if people still do this, but back when I was competing, like, all of us had the same or similar stack, like whether it was like Hani or whether it was like Chad or whether it was whatever, all the stacks protocols that were given to us were relatively the same.
Yeah.
And it just became like a thing. This is what your stack looks like. This is what you do from week 16 to week 10. This is what you do from week 10 to 6. This is what you do from 4 to 1. And then you go on stage.
Yeah.
And
you're talking about like designing stacks for your genetics, basically, right?
No, I'm talking about designing stacks based on blood work.
Yeah, which is
based on your genetics.
Function of your
genetics.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I don't think bodybuilders have ever done, and it's really going to change, I think, the way people do things for the better.
Yeah,
because I think people will realize if they start connecting their protocols to their blood work, they're going to start to realize they don't need nearly as much as what they've been doing.
Well, as you know as well, and I think it's not uncommon, like people used to do that with nutrition. So why not do it with gear? The blood work. They used to do blood work, and they used to have nutrition based on blood work.
Right.
So why not
still do that?
Exactly. So I'm saying, why not
the one barrier to entry to that is financials, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, for instance, if you take Hunts, for example, we've been checking these labs every 2 weeks because we've got this concierge service. But I can't tell my 21-year-old kid that's getting ready for his first show, hey man, I need you to run $250 blood work every year.
No, but it's different.
But watch this. Watch this. So I'm just going to throw out some numbers that are completely hypothetical. Let's say 1995, Chad Nichols comes along and he says, this is what your stack should look like, right? Hani's coming up. Hani's learning. Chris Aceto's already around.
Yeah.
Whatever. They all start to go, okay, they start hearing things. This becomes kind of the stack and the way everybody does things, right? So those guys at the top, that shit trickles down to the amateurs. So now the amateurs are like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. 16 to 10, 10 to 6, 4 to week 1. They learn from them, right? So when you're talking about the price for blood work, you're 100% right. But it's not going to cost that for the pros. Because companies like Merrick or whatever will sponsor a pro and say, we're going to sponsor your blood work. That pro will do the blood work. That pro will understand now, holy fuck, you know what? I don't need to do 1,000 milligrams of test. I don't need to do all these AIs. I don't need to do all this fucking trend. I can do a quarter of the amount of trend. I can do no AIs. I can do. So now that will trickle down to the amateurs. Now, the problem is it's going to be specific to that person. So it's not going to trickle down exactly, but the thought that you can do less will trickle down. And that's my point.
Here's the thing though, right? And I've got a wide range of athletes and I look at their blood work. What someone with elite genetics needs versus what someone without is very, very
I know that, Ben, but you missed my point. What I'm trying to say is someone like Hunter is probably going to get away with less than someone like at level 1, right? Level 2, whatever.
Like
regional.
Me.
Whatever. Yeah. But my point is, I'm saying, as long as the guys at the top can all of a sudden teach the younger guys, hey, No, I know what you're saying, but I'm telling you, if you can revamp the way cycles are done, that will trickle down to some people, not to
No,
everybody.
my argument is, how many times have we done a podcast where you guys have told people what you use and everyone's like, bullshit,
I
nonsense.
I
Or
know.
even if you showed the blood work, oh, they're chatting
I
shit.
would
They're
say
running 2 grams. Like,
Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. There's going to be a bunch of people that are still like, I want to do 1,000 milligrams of tren. But if a lot of the pros are like, hey, you know what? I got really good results from 25 milligrams of tren a day instead of 100 a day, and I had no negative side effects. If enough pros start talking about that, people will start, half of those people will start to say, you know what? I'm going to try doing less and see if I get the same results. I just think it's not going to solve all of the problems, but I think it will help people understand that we've kind of all been doing it wrong. And I'm saying even at the highest,
no,
I'm saying even at the highest level, even
that's
at the
what
high.
Jewett
Sorry, go
like.
ahead, Martin.
No, I mean that's kind of what John Jewett is doing with his like J3U coaching thing.
Right,
Is like he's trying to teach coaches like less is more, and like by doing XYZ, you're just having to have them get on more drugs because you're combating side effects
right,
versus
right,
if you just did 500 tests instead of a gram of test, you wouldn't have to take an Arimidex every day, and you can,
right.
so
yeah,
I
but
get what you're
isn't he
saying.
also running? Isn't he also running like 2 grams of Masteron or 2 grams of
Yeah, yeah,
Primo
exactly.
alongside of it? So he kind of gets
Oh,
like,
100%.
well,
Yeah,
Primo's pretty
I
toxic as well.
agree.
People don't realize.
This is the problem. Like coming from a pharmacy background and understanding blood work, I've done this for myself my entire career. Like I know what drugs affect me in certain ways and why I feel certain ways when X hormones get out of range. Like when my progesterone gets high, I turn into an absolute psychopath. And
Yeah,
like, like there's certain things I know. My estrogen was used to be very like highly driven, and that's why I got gyno. So I figured all these things out on my own, and I totally understand what you're saying about like you can find a dose based on your blood work that is
right,
like perfect in the sense that you don't have to take something to fix side effects and those things.
right.
The problem is, and this is something that I've really like, I've thought about and tried to take an approach with this because we do have a good platform on social media, and I would love to educate people on this. Every time someone like one of us does that, everyone just thinks we're lying, bro. It's like, I don't know, like maybe you're right if enough of us do it, but like
Okay.
every single time I've ever tried to come forward and say like this is what I'm doing right now, they're like, that's bullshit.
Okay,
So and
watch,
so's
watch,
taking 4 grams.
watch this, Martin. Watch this. Those cycles that I did were passed down from me to my clients, right? Because like,
Correct.
so and so coached
Yeah.
me, and then I coach so and so, and I'm like, this is what you need to be doing. Then that person
Yeah.
coaches people, and they're like, that's what you need to be doing. Same thing's going to happen with Ben. Ben's coaching 50 people, say, right?
Yeah.
He's doing this blood work shit with Hunter, and they're going to learn that, okay, maybe if I take a little less test, we don't need to take an AI. Maybe we don't need so much trend. Maybe we don't need this. Maybe we don't need that. And he does that with Hunter, and then he ends up doing it with somebody else who's an amateur. That amateur now
Yeah.
becomes a coach. That guy does it with his client.
I agree
All
with
I'm
that.
saying is,
I agree with it.
all I'm saying is,
but
right.
that's how it'll filter.
I know that, but that's
That's
what I'm saying.
how.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's going to happen in one day. I'm saying, I think if enough people understand that your blood work can match your gear usage and you can do it healthier and still get great results, eventually that will filter through. Because people are
I agree.
people are fucking dying, man. Like,
Yeah.
the average age of a bodybuilder now is like fucking 45 years old. Like,
I think you're very right, and also now we can do that. The thing is like as well as I do. Like during your era, bro, like you guys couldn't talk about that.
no. I'm saying, but now,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
there,
It
now
used
there's
to be very much voodoo. So now it's like we can, so we need to, and we need to fix
right.
the problem that is out
Look,
there.
like-
But then,
So, I mean,
but then you'll have the problem with other pros or amateurs being like, these guys are full, like you said, they're full of shit, and it's like,
Fine.
and the problem is they have a loud fucking voice and they shout about it, right?
We
And so
have-
everyone
but
goes,
you know,
oh, well, they're all fucking
Ben,
lying.
we have the loudest voice. There's no other podcast that gets more views, right? So it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like Hostile is teaming up with Merrick.
Right.
Like we want to make this a normal thing. We want to make sure bodybuilders have access to blood work all the fucking time through your preps, through your off seasons. Like this will determine not only your health, but it will also determine how you take your gear. That's
how you grow and how you lean out and everything.
And it will hopefully raise the average age of fucking death for a bodybuilder from 45 to a more normal fucking age, right? Because right now there is no, like Ben, there is no, like my stacks that I took, aside from them actually working and getting me shredded, I don't know if there's any health rhyme or reason to them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like when those stacks were built out, were they built out only in the sense to get me as big and
Here to
shredded as
here.
possible? Yeah.
You mean the anabolic side of things?
Yeah. Like I'm saying, like in my era, those stacks when they were created,
Yeah.
were those stacks created simply to get the guy from A to B or A to Z as shredded and big as possible with no health implications looked at all?
They were not in consideration of your life after bodybuilding.
Right. So now I'm saying we can still get that guy from A to Z fucking peeled and big.
I feel like that happened in the 90s, right? And you're living it more than I was, right?
No.
Because if I speak to the guy, no, I'm saying that whole more drug use turned, like we had that inflection point, right, in the 90s where things really started getting pushed, and it worked for the guys that could tolerate it,
right?
And then it became the norm. But
Right.
if I talk to I mean, not to name drop, I spent time with Lee in Italy, a lot of time with Lee.
Yeah.
And we got into the nitty gritty of them. People will tell me in the 60s, 70s, 80s, fucking blow your mind how little it was, and it would be like full blown breaks off of everything. And I know he was like 190 pounds on stage, whatever else.
I've talked to
the guys around him.
Yeah.
Right. And then I seem like in the 90s it just got, maybe I'm not going to blame anyone, but like that Dorian era where it just got flipped on its head.
But Ben,
he was like pushing shit, right?
But Ben, think about why. There's two reasons why. One, everybody was chasing Dorian, right? He was fucking way bigger than everybody. And then everybody was chasing Ronnie.
And it got rewarded, right? The big physiques got rewarded.
That was the second part of what I was going to say.
Well, that's why there's a big responsibility on the IFBB to choose physiques that are perhaps not so blown out, like more aesthetic, more presentable. I don't know, longer lasting. People that live longer. There is a responsibility there as well. So you're doing your bit, but also we as a federation, the bodybuilding federation, needs to start rewarding a look. And it's hard to determine look because someone could have taken just as much fucking gear. You never know. But
it's what I mean. But it's crazy, right? I've had guys come to me like classic pros from other coaches, and I look at their stuff and I'm like, holy fuck,
mega doses.
Like you're a physique guy, or you're a classic guy, or you're an amateur or a pro. I'm like classic Olympians. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like 3 times what I've got any of my guys.
Yeah,
I don't even know how you're gonna make weight.
Sorry, I got a little fucking amped up on this one. I think it's something that I was actually like, I'm learning all about it. So I'm like, this is fucking crazy. If this could really revolutionize the way guys do their protocols, it could also revolutionize the way guys and how long they live post career. Because like, fuck, man, it seems like every week we see somebody fucking passing away in their 40s. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy, man. So anyway, we'll get off that. I wanted to go into shit. Did I delete it?
Yeah.
But the other thing, Fouad, real quick, so on that point, those guys way back as well, like when they would come off, they now wouldn't look a certain way, right? And now we're in that social media world where it's like,
you have to look for something all year round.
Like, hey, like, yeah, like, you know, you'd almost get laughed off stage. You remember when fucking Sean got on stage and did that guest pose and people laughed at him because he was out of shape and just fluffy?
He was just relaxing.
And he looked like an off-season guy from 20, 30 years ago. Whereas
Who's
now
that?
you get guys getting on stage when Sean Roden guest posed. Remember?
Oh no, he looked really bad.
He did, but
he looked no worse. He looked no worse than
Fun.
like Lee Priest and Jay and Dorian back when they did their off-season guest post.
No, not even close. Listen, I love Sean Roden. I don't want to speak.
He was small and fat.
I don't want to speak ill of him because rest in peace.
Listen.
No, there's no offense, but he was really off at that guest post.
Okay, but listen, but he was off. He was off, right? Proper off.
I'm just saying he should have said, I can't do it. I'm off. I'm like resting.
Okay, sure. But in today's
That's
what
the
I'm saying
pressures
is in today's world, you know, you got to do YouTube videos in the off season. You've got to do this, you've got to do that.
I get what you're saying, but I think a lot of bodybuilding fans understand that like Martin's not going to be fucking onion skin all year round.
No, he is. Martin is in.
Well, Martin would be closer. Yeah, Martin.
Bad example.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find James. I think you picked. I must have deleted it. James, you picked Lewis Breed to win the show.
Actually, he could win the show. Could.
No, you picked him to win the last week.
Well,
and
dude, they went for Bruno. They went for Bruno, who was not as tight as him. And
okay, I don't have the picks. I don't have the picks, but I want to go over. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it because it's kind of all over the place online and what people think. So, James, we'll start with you since you were just going. What did you think of the top four? For those who didn't see it, I'll pull up some pictures now. But
well, I told you before, I'm a big fan of Mo's physique, and he got fourth. Yes. I would rather look like Mo than any of the others.
Yeah, but just he was saying. A little. But okay, wait.
Yeah,
wait,
but I'm just.
Wait. Okay, wait. That's actually a really good point. I want to touch on that because I've seen this comment a few times. Do you think it's more important to follow bodybuilding criteria or follow what people want to look like?
Oh no, you need to have criteria, of course. Okay. And I understand why he didn't win. I just like his look. He came to my gym the next day and looked marvelous. I had a look at him, had him posing in the room, and I was like, bloody hell, this guy's good.
Okay, so you're not like, you don't think like
I'm not one of them.
Okay. Because
that's why I said, look, that's why I would have had Lewis winning, because Lewis I knew was more muscular. So I assumed because Lewis is a little bit more balanced top to bottom than say Presti. That's why I said that I think Lewis could pull off the win. Plus, he's still in the eyes of the judges. They've seen him compete a few times. They've given him good placings. So I felt like it could potentially be his time.
Did you guys see this fucking transformation? What the fuck?
Bro, that kid, he's like baby.
I know, he's young. He's fucking big. Okay, I think it's right here somewhere.
I'm not much older.
There. Okay. So
I felt that Lewis won side chest. Lewis won the side shots for me and was good in the back shots, won the most muscular. So I was like, he's winning a lot of shots. So I was like, I can understand if they get him because he's got legs and upper body. I know he's blocky. But Bruno ain't as tapered as fucking.
You're like, I know he's blocky.
I like,
and I know,
that's why it's called the brick.
And I know British food sucks, but they're both from the UK, and I love them.
Well, no, it's just he gets into that gnarly condition, and he had good separation. I know Presti's a little bit lighter in the thighs, and I know that's a bit of a problem.
Okay, but wait a minute, James. Can I just get? I want to ask you a few questions back and forth, so we can teach the audience.
Absolutely.
So you're going through the poses one by one.
Yeah.
Saying like Breed won the side shots, which I don't necessarily agree with, but let's just say you're right. But what about front and back? And then also, that's not fully the way a bodybuilding show is judged.
No,
right?
I know.
So
we know this.
Can you explain to them kind of why you either think he won or didn't win or where he should have been?
He didn't win because of structure.
Okay. So you're fine with that.
Yeah, because he's only going to win a show if someone comes in who doesn't have a structure that's that superior. It's like having Andrew Jack to a show because he's got structure. Let's be honest. He's going to beat a lot of people just because of structure alone.
Right.
And Lewis can beat a lot of people, but not if someone comes in with a structure that's like extremely crazy. It's like me expecting to beat someone with a beautiful structure. It's probably not very likely unless they come in underwhelming.
So you're saying if somebody has the same amount of muscularity, similar condition, but their shape is better, they're going to win.
Pretty much, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's go back then. Sorry, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
As I'd say, especially with the direction that bodybuilding is going right now. Like, condition matters, but shape is very important right now.
It seems like it's not a 33, 33, 33 anymore. It seems like if you're looking at like muscularity, symmetry, condition, it seems like symmetry or
20,
shape
20,
or
60.
yeah, it's almost like shape is like it's 40, 30, 30 or something, like maybe like more or whatever.
Well, like
You think that's
Raf
a
at the
feel
Arnold,
to-
Raf got third at the Arnold, and I would argue that De La Rosa was in superior condition, but Raf's got a structure that is just
I
really, really
don't.
beautiful.
I wouldn't even argue that. I think
They got
John
like,
was.
I'm just
was,
exactly.
was
I'm just
much
saying.
better
I was there.
conditioned.
You was there. You know. So
Oh yeah, but hold on a minute. What if but Rafa's got a similar amount of muscularity. So really they traded shape and condition.
they went more for the shape.
Yeah, so it's not like it's like a 40 30 30. It's not like
Yeah.
really yeah.
But this is just it's just showing how important shape is.
Right. I agree with you. Okay. So if we go back then, were you okay with Mo being in fourth?
Not really, because I think Mo has. I don't know. I'm not biased to Mo. I have no reason to be. I
This
just
is
think
Mo.
he needs to pose better and be a bit more aggressive. He needs to open up a bit more. Bend the knees a little bit more, not so stand straight legged.
He's got very Raphael-esque quads.
He's very impressive, but he could definitely present better. And if he does that and has a bit more like on stage, because
I know what you're saying. He doesn't have
he'll sit at the back and just like accept it. And I'm like, nah, man.
Yeah.
But
it's almost like you can show that you're not confident by not being too aggressive enough.
That back double those to me is not.
It's the lap out of lap.
Pro show.
Oh, I don't know about not winning an open pro show. It just depends what one. I think he's definitely Olympia. He's been to the Olympia before. I definitely think he's Olympia standard, but he's just not the standard that's like in that upper yet. But I think he could be, man. Like he's got all the tools. I don't know what you think, Martin.
Go ahead, Martin.
I mean, I think this guy's great. He's just
More back.
If he was better, he probably would have been third. Honestly, just didn't present himself as well as he could have.
Yeah,
I
wonder if that's a confidence thing.
I think the only thing with Mo is he's still not the right size. Like he's got the shape, he's got the right insertions, he's got the right proportions. There's nothing really lagging. It just everything is not big enough yet.
But you know,
he
like
needs a bit more density to that physique.
Sure.
He needs
more thickness on him.
Yeah.
But like even just little things like where his legs were positioned there, like they were too wide for his physique.
Right. Yeah, you know, from the back. Yeah.
It's not like you got if you got Nick Walker's legs, yeah. But so you got to pose for your physique, and I feel like maybe that's just a few little tweaks.
Yeah.
I think he'll qualify. I think he can qualify for this next Olympia and this next few run. I think one of the UK Europe shows he might be able to pop a win.
So then we go Lewis and Bruno, and you can see what James is talking about there with shape.
Doesn't win front shots, Lewis, unfortunately, just because the arms and the waist ratio.
Well, and the legs don't really. They're not the legs to waist is kind of off. Like the legs don't really look thick enough for somebody.
Lewis's posing in the lat spread looks awkward as well.
But you know, that's the same with any of the guys that are big in the middle. You know, like Nick, you know, the guys that are kind of thick around there. They just can't seem to get up and around the elbows, can they? So it's a mobility thing. But side shots, I think Lewis is dominating quite heavily in the side chest. Freaky.
He's good in the side shots. Yeah, he's good in the side shots.
I know I'm waffling, but
no. And then we got so Andrea and Bruno. The problem is, I think the judges at prejudging had Bruno in third, and they had a lot of them had, not everybody. It was some thirds, and then he was third place after prejudging, and then some of the judges had Presti in first, and he was first in the scorecards after prejudging, and then people are kind of upset because they're like, "How did it happen? How did they switch?" James, and Ben and Martin, I'll let you go first. How did that switch happen? What would be your theory on it? Did he just come back better? Like, or did they realize they made a mistake? Like, what is it that they all of a sudden saw that decided that, hey, you know what? We got the wrong guy in first.
Very difficult to say without being there. And I know that's a cop out, but
no, it's true.
Okay, I'll give you.
I would say for that combination to happen, not only did Bruno get better, but Presti got worse.
Yeah, I didn't watch the live stream, so I don't know if that happened. But
the problem is a lot of the content that gets put out like this is only from prejudge.
Yeah. I mean, I think my personal opinion, and some people think this is wrong, and I don't necessarily think it's wrong. So I just want to ask you guys. My opinion is this. So they all placed their guy where they thought that he deserved to be. And then usually after prejudging, and I've seen this happen, so I don't know if it's an every show thing or just sometimes, but the judges kind of get together, they go for lunch, right? Maybe not all the judges, maybe some of the judges, and they discuss the show. I said this before and somebody commented, well, that's wrong. And I'm like, well, they're not going to seclude the judges. Like, you have to go from the judges table to your hotel room and you're secluded. Yeah, you can't talk anymore. He's like, well, it's wrong if they're persuading somebody to judge the way they judge. And I'm like, no, that's actually what they should be doing. If they're sitting together after lunch and they're going, hey guys, how'd you see the show? This is what I thought. This is what I thought. And then they're having a conversation and they come to a conclusion. Is that wrong or is that right?
I don't think that's wrong. I think because not one mind leads the group, does it? It's not like one person's like overarching.
Well, you'll have the head judge that the head judge gets to decide, and
Yeah, but he's not going to say you all have to think like me. I don't think.
Right.
He might even be, or she might even be subject to a slight change in thought process depending on what someone else sees.
Right.
Because if you're a collective of minds, you normally come to a conclusion that's a medium of everyone's thoughts.
Right.
You know, rather than one person's opinion. But I don't know, unless it's like really like, oh no, you will do. But
I mean, it's the same thing in a court, right? You have a jury, and they'll hear everything, and then they'll go away and they discuss
and they deliberate. Yeah. Okay. Aside from what the judges thought, why do you guys think Bruno won, or do you even think Bruno won? Do you think Presti should have won? What do you guys think?
Bruno's just a combo of the two, and he's got the mass, the density of like Lewis, but he's got a little bit more pleasing shape than Breed.
He is the blend of the two.
Yep. Yeah. Martin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, his shape is as good as Presti's, maybe even a little better because he has a better quad sweep. So he got even a little better X frame. I would say conditioning maybe wasn't as sharp as Presti, maybe, but not being that person, you can't really dictate that. And then he has plenty of muscle. Like, I mean, really, besides Presti's legs, all three of these guys are pretty heavily muscled bodybuilders. So for Bruno to be probably the most muscled guy, maybe Lewis is a little more muscled than him, but because of the shape, he gets the nod. I mean, I think he deserved it. He looked great, man.
Well, it's kind of like you said,
improved crazy drastic from the show before that he did, Italy or whatever.
It's almost like you kind of hit it on the head, Martin. It's like each of the other two guys had a flaw and Bruno didn't.
Yeah, we said it's about you get to take off something, don't you?
Yeah, because if you look at Breed, you're like, okay, he's muscular, he's conditioned, but his shape is off. If you look at Presti, you're like, his condition's amazing. He's got a lot of muscle, but balance isn't necessarily there because the legs are a little bit smaller. So
Bruno, you're like, oh,
yeah, you're like,
maybe he's not quite.
He had the least faults for sure.
Yeah,
right.
In terms of muscularity, in terms of like actual physical muscle, which is what bodybuilding is. Yeah.
Right.
He's a big boy. I saw him in Italy in person. Like, he hits the most muscular. I was like, whoa,
I bet.
I wouldn't have, like James said, Lewis won the most muscular. I think Bruno's most muscular is not.
I think the reason I like Lewis is because he's got that detail. You know what I mean?
And he's white, and he's white, and he's gritty, and he's
from British,
from England.
And he's your mate. Yeah.
James, if anybody uses like identity as their bias, you're the number one guy for sure. You're the number one guy that uses.
He's my friend. He should have won.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Loyal. That's loyal, James, right?
That's what it is.
Wait, what is this? Oh, this is last week's picks. Oh, that's right. You guys didn't pick last week. Okay, let me get out of this.
We weren't allowed on.
No, you guys.
We're not the cool.
But you just like falsify our results and put them all as correct, so we win some points.
Yes.
And now that's already happened.
Okay. Let me see what I got here. I think I got something here. Okay. And we're gonna share this. Okay, guys. Martin, I don't think you're allowed to do this one. Or you can, or you can
if you want to,
or you can if you want. It's up to you.
Surely.
So James, I got James and Ben down here. We'll switch this one to Martin.
I thought we had already done the Olympia.
Fits.
Yeah. James had Andrew win the Olympia.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We definitely.
I was like, yeah, Andrew. Just getting all the hate.
You deleted our predictions. You did.
I think I did.
It doesn't matter. I definitely had Martin up there as well.
Andrew. Okay, Andrew's winning. James, what do you have?
I can't remember my. This is how old. Ask.
You don't have to. You don't have to remember. Just remember that. Okay, Ben, go ahead.
You have to go. You're gonna have to go back to the episode.
What's okay? Just here. Just pick your top 10. Let's go.
Who are you talking to?
Ben.
You, Ben. Highlighting on your name, big boy.
In order. I can't see something.
Yes, in order.
Little screen. In order. Hey, fuck. Okay. Derek, Hardy, Samson, Andrew. I'm trying to remember what I said last time.
Just pick now. Who cares? We're gonna change it again anyway.
Hunter, Martin, Nick.
These picks are shit.
Fuck you.
Mate.
Curry.
Okay. There's Baruz, there's Rafa, there's
Baruz isn't going to compete, so no.
Okay, there's Raphael, there's John De La Rosa, there's John Jewett. Tonio's out.
Someone else.
There's what's his name? The black guy, the strong dude. What the fuck is his name? I can't remember right now.
The black guy,
the strong dude.
You guys know what I'm talking about. The strong
Ronnie Coleman.
Yes, Ronnie Coleman. Yes. No, Akeem. That's it. Martin said Akeem.
The strong dude.
The
old 8-plate squat.
Akeem is a strong bastard. I'm gonna go with De La Rosa and Raf.
Okay. James, Andrew's winning.
Are
you keeping that, or are you changing your mind?
Just because I can't do the same as everyone else. Hardy.
But I want your actual picks.
Yes, I'm going for it. Samson.
Derek's gonna slip off.
Derek,
watch this.
Derek's fourth. Sorry, Derek.
These picks are worse than Ben's.
Martin. Hunter. Sorry, Team Hunter. Sorry, Ben. Put Martin above today. Curry. Oh no, Nick.
I was gonna say Nick's in 8th all of a sudden.
Sorry, Nick. Is Curry.
Curry's gonna be so mad at it. Curry's gonna be so mad at you guys. Look at this.
Well, he should have put more videos out.
Look at this. 8.
Curry should have put more pictures.
He's got to keep us in the loop more.
Post some pictures at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, we need to see more.
Yeah. Stay hidden.
Let's go Bonac.
Put him in first.
Oh, I forgot about Bonac.
Oh, freaking William shit.
And then John.
John, which John? Jewett?
De La Rosa.
Last time you had Jewett in 8th. You know that, right?
I think
I'm sorry, Jewett's not getting 8. He's not getting 8.
Okay, Martin, go ahead.
All right.
Samson.
Who's going?
I want Samson to win it.
Okay, Samson. Yep.
Then Hottie, then Derek. I'm gonna put myself in 4th.
Yeah.
Oh,
come on, bro.
Hunter in 6th. Nick in 7th. Probably Bonac in 8th. Who am I missing?
Rafa.
I actually like Martin. I actually like Martin's picks here. I think they're pretty fucking good.
Actually, would you put Raf at 8th and Bonac at 9th? I think that will be really close right there, actually.
Then you have Jewett, De La Rosa, Akeem. Who else am I missing? Anybody?
No,
there's some of the European guys like Theo and shit. You putting Akeem in here?
I think I'm gonna give it to Akeem, man. I saw he looked very good at Toronto.
He's a big boy.
Freak.
He is, and he's dense as a motherfucking house.
He's that taper he has is fucking madness.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
wide.
That side leg, bro, and that side chest and
side legs are naughty.
Martin, you think you can beat Andrew?
If you wouldn't say it, if you did.
Bro,
I think I might switch you guys.
It's gonna be very close, man. Andrew's very, very good. I think with the conditioning that I'm bringing, that this is a condition I've never had before, bringing to the next level again. I think that's gonna give me the edge. But Andrew's a fucking bro. If he brings it peeled, we're all fucking in trouble.
Yeah.
That's the reason I put him in first, because I do feel if that fucker brings it.
He's a fucking freak, man. He's an absolute freak. Him and Samson, bro. If one of those two kids onion peeled, we're all fucked.
Let's read.
The thing is, if you go on history, I've never seen Andrew get better from show to show.
Right.
I said that on previous podcasts. I seen him get worse, not better.
Yeah, the longer he preps, his body fights back, it seems like.
All right, let me read some of these comments here. Let's see. Did I miss something? Is Martin part of Hostile? Yes, you did miss something. Martin is now part of Hostile. Let's see. This guy says, yes, bro. That's why I think Samson and Andrew have an equal. I don't know what that's about. Martin competing to compete at the Detroit Pro now that he's your athlete. We don't tell our athletes where to compete. If he wants to compete at the Detroit Pro, he'd be more than welcome.
Defending champ.
Yeah.
Well, if he wants to defend his belt, we should start giving out belts.
Oh yeah, we could belt.
But we got to take it. What we should do is make the belt and take it away from the person if they don't compete the next year.
That's what they used to do at football here, didn't they?
Yeah,
they do it football trophies here.
Someone give Fouad an apple. Fouad is picking Samson and Martin first and second now. I did. Automatically, yes. Hunter is not beating Nick or Martin. What do you think about that, Ben?
Bodybuilding, we'll see, right? I think.
Do you want to?
I think all three of them could beat each other on any given day at this point.
Yeah, I would actually say that's a pretty accurate statement, because now that we've seen, I think Nick is going to come back better than New York, because I think Nick knows that people didn't really like that look. But I also think you and Hunter figured something out in Italy, so Hunter's also going to look better than Italy. And then Martin's also been working his ass off. He's going to look better than New York as well.
So. This is the fucking thing. Everyone in that.
That's what I'm saying. All three
is about to get better.
It's about whites.
I think the only one that might not get better is Hardy, because I think his ceiling is kind of close to it. I think everyone else is doing this. Maybe, but I think it's like marginal, right? I think it's tweaks. I think Martin's
his ceilings.
I think a lot of these guys' trajectory is doing this. Hardy's is like incremental, right? It's this. Samson said that very thing to me after Detroit. He said, "Ben, I'll catch them. I'm not.
No, I know you will.
I'll just catch them up. You know.
No, because I agree with you. Hardy, out of the top 7 or 8 guys, Hardy and Brandon,
have
the smallest amount of growth to happen.
Bonac too, right? Yeah. Bonac's in that.
They're on their way
later in his career. They can, hope to bring a good look and maybe match their best. But you're not going to see giant strides in their physiques.
But I just mean, out of those 3, I think people are trying to judge who's going to win what based on the previous showings. And what I'm saying is all 3 of those showings are kind of out, because Nick is going to be sharper. Hunter is going to be peaked better. And
he's going to be wait. He's going to be a lot more conditioned and harder as well.
Well, that's part of being peaked better. That's what I mean. It's like he's going to be fuller and harder. And Martin is going to be bigger. So they're all kind of going to be different than what we've seen already. So it's kind of hard to judge who's going to.
And I do think they have physiques that can be compared really well next to each other.
The white.
You already saw Nick and Martin go toe to toe.
White boys.
I think, when you throw an Andrew physique in there and a Samson physique in there, it starts to get tricky to compare physiques if you don't really, to the average person,
Oh, the old color game again.
I didn't do it, James.
I was waiting for somebody.
No, you know what I mean.
No, it's right. No,
they stack up well against each other.
It's a height thing as well.
I actually don't think, aside from them being white, I don't think the 3 physiques are similar at all.
No, I mean stature-wise, rather than just like
that's what I said. It's more of a height thing.
I agree. I agree. You have two tall guys and Andrew Sansom, but I'm saying if you actually take a little bit closer look at the physiques, it's almost like you have a complete fucking mass monster in Nick. It's not necessarily beautiful, but it's fucking raw, rugged, ton of fucking muscle, and it's going to be conditioned. Then you take a look at Hunter, and you're like, you have a pretty balanced physique. He's maybe got one or two areas that might be lagging, but overall balanced and fucking big. And then you have Martin, who might be a little bit smaller than those two, but has beautiful shape and very round.
I'd say you have like those two, and then Hunter somewhere in the blend between the two, right? At this point in time, because I'm sure Martin in another year or time is going to be just a fucking freaking as big as them.
I almost think Martin is apples and oranges compared to Hunter and Nick. James, what do you think?
I think it might be a similar thing between like Bruno Presti and I think Martin's that like perfect balance in between the two.
James, how would you assess the three physiques? Are they closer than they are far apart, or is Martin a little different, or is Hunter in the middle, kind of like Ben says?
Martin's the cleanest in terms of if you were to tick, if we were doing that pick off what's missing, I think the most complete is mine.
Yeah, then it just becomes a size.
Not out of disrespect, because there's some things that have happened to other guys' physiques over time. That's
he probably has the fewest flaws, other than the other two have more tissue on them at this point.
Yeah, that's the only difference. The other two might be a little bit denser.
Martin's development throughout the whole body is more close. Like everything's developed on a nice even level. I feel more so than the other guys. I think there's a little bit of areas in other guys aren't quite as balanced, but Martin is very balanced. Like,
This guy says Martin has more in common with Samson than Nick.
Yes, he's rounder. Yes, he's round.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Nick is more of. That's why I said it's like when I think of Nick and Martin, I think of apples and oranges. It's not. I don't see them being similar.
Well, if you look at like Nick's muscle shape, take away like the actual structure, but the shape of the muscles, they're more in like Andrew's. They're like pointy. Like,
you mean Martin or Nick?
No, I'm saying that Nick's more like an Andrew, and then Martin's more like Samson. They're round.
Oh, you're talking about the jagged versus
yeah. You know, I say it a lot, but it's just this thing. It's like Huddy and Derek. Derek's round, Huddy's jagged.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, some people got the Ronnie Coleman peak, or some people got the peak, and it's like And then the same with the shoulders and shit. It's like Martin's got that nice round look, which more like Branch before he had any tears. You know, when Branch didn't have.
When I think of Martin, I actually, somebody said this, and I thought there's no fucking way. And then the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, somebody said Phil. And I was like,
round.
I'm like, I can kind of see that now.
But with a better, not in a rude way, still have crazy arms, but with a better structure through the pecs, you have a wider pec.
Wider. Yeah. All right, let me read some of these.
My clavicles are wider than Phil's, but his arms were way better than mine.
Yeah, Phil had pretty narrow
biceps of all time.
This guy said Martin is probably the most similar to Samson. This guy said, are you guys having the feeling that Brandon might drop out last minute? I don't think so. No.
Not quite.
Nick's physique throws the whole top 6-7 off. How is he rewarded? Because the only thing Nick is missing, like for people who don't, if you're trying to understand bodybuilding criteria, the only thing Nick is missing is his structure is not as pretty as some of the others in the top 5-6, but he's got arguably more muscle and arguably is at least as conditioned as everybody else, if not better.
Yeah, he has his own strengths.
So like Nick,
I'd have loved to have seen him stood next to Derek last year. I'm gutted. I hope that
Nick makes up for lack of structure with raw muscle and condition.
Yeah.
That's where Hunter, Nick, and I are all very comparable. Is that even though we're slightly different, and like James was saying, I'm more balanced overall. We're all very balanced. Like none of us, you're like, he doesn't have a back or he doesn't have a like.
Exactly.
No, now, especially since Hunter really has grown his back, there's no body part that you can pick out on one of us and say like, he doesn't have that. Like we're pretty balanced.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Sorry, but I think actually, I actually think you're more balanced than both of them. I just think they're bigger than you are right now. Like there's not like if I look at Hunter, I don't think, and no offense, Ben, but I don't think his back compares to his legs. Right? Like when you look at Hunter's legs, you're like, holy fuck. Like that's
You can argue Hunter's got the best legs.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I don't
know
so
fucking thick.
Right. And I don't know if the back matches that level of leg, right? And then if you look at Nick, you're like, holy fuck, those hamstrings, holy fuck, those arms. But then you're like, the quads maybe not match the same. They don't have the same sweep or shape or impressiveness as the width and dugout fucking hamstrings that he has, right? So it's like, but then when I look at your physique, everything is pretty even, but you are, like Ben said, you have a little less tissue. So they make up for the lack of balance by being a little bigger. And that's, I think, where you guys are more comparable. Like
for sure, Martin is the most balanced of those three.
Right,
but
right.
I think mine's probably the most balanced, probably one of the most balanced on the pro scene. So
you think Derek, he's more balanced than Derek, right?
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah. Kevin Vences says, Fouad, can you bring my coach Kyle Curvey on the pod? Think you should sponsor him. He's the strongest bodybuilder. That guy is strong.
He is strong. 900 pound at the Gymshark event, wasn't it? He's so strong. So strong.
Let's see here. I don't think being bigger with crap shape. These guys are such assholes.
Dude, people are savage.
These guys are so fucking rude. Man, you guys talk like these guys are like, you're talking about the best bodybuilders in the world, man.
So I just
want to read this so we can make a point about it. I don't think being bigger with crap shape should be rewarded. I mean, look at Dexter, not the biggest, but had everything just like Martin. Look,
perhaps a strong word.
Yeah. Like
that's the thing. It's
Dexter, like Dexter was amazing, but Dexter could never beat Jay, Coleman, somebody who is bigger. Like shape is not the only thing that matters. If you want shape to be, Ian said it best. If you want shape to be worth that much, then go watch Classic. It's still bodybuilding at the end of the day. So there are more criteria than just class than just shape. Sorry, Ben, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, isn't it funny, or it seems to be, that I've just seen a lot of like backlash almost from every single open win this year.
Oh, mate.
Wait, let's think. No, not Andrews.
No, okay, I said almost, right? So take Andrew off the deck.
Yeah.
And probably Martin at Detroit. I think that was a fair, like, you didn't get much shit for that.
Nobody
get much shit for that.
Nobody gave Hottie shit for winning the Arnolds. Both of them.
No, that's true.
Okay, all right. So those three. Now go through the rest of them. Like Akeem took shit in Toronto because there's a bunch of Jewett fans that were like, John should have won.
Right.
John did also got fucking hammered.
Did he?
Oh
yes, real bad. Like fucking crucified.
Yeah, he had a bad stomach, bless him.
What other shows happened?
Baru's,
Bonak.
There's a lot of videos online about that.
And Nathan traded wins a bunch.
But there's been like this like fan narrative that's just been very negative after these top guys have won. A lot of it.
Isn't that just sports though? Isn't that just like when Tom Brady wins 7 fucking Super Bowls? Aren't people like, fuck Tom Brady, he's an asshole? Like, it's kind of like the way sports goes.
Success brings that, doesn't it?
Like you have like, look, I was a Tom Brady hater for the first like 3 or 4 Super Bowls, and I'm like, this guy's pretty badass. And I finally start to like him, right? But I was like one of those guys because I was like, Peyton Manning's better, Tom Brady shit, fuck him. It's just sports. I think it's just like I don't
really know either of those two people you just said, but okay.
They're all Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But I guess my point is it's easy for me to say now because I'm not in the sport anymore. So I know it's harder for the guys that are actually competing. But I think I don't know if it's as malicious as sometimes we feel like it is. I think
it's personal because you're a bodybuilder yourself, you take it a bit more personally.
Right.
Like I know Nick got slammed for New York, right?
Yeah, but I think also with bodybuilding, because people are used to seeing a bodybuilder a certain way, when they see him less than that, they let him know it.
And also
Yeah, but
remember,
they
everyone has
really
opinion
let
on the
those.
physiques.
They go
And-
too far though.
And honestly, I think people like the underdog. Like Nick, like when Nick beat Martin, Martin got a huge pop. Like people like Martin, how much popularity did you gain after taking second to Nick?
Oh, that was bigger for me than winning Detroit, honestly.
Right. Now watch.
Yeah.
I bet you, if Martin starts winning a bunch of shows, that'll flip a little bit.
Yeah.
He'll start to gain like a little bit. Because listen, that happened to
You know what
Samson.
it is? No, now he's something hostile. He'll definitely get shit.
Yeah. No,
100%.
but listen, actually, this is true. Look, this happened to Samson. It happened to Jay Cutler. Happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Look at when Samson was placing top 3 and not winning, he had 0 haters. 0. As soon as he started winning shows and placing in the top 3 at the Olympia,
Stop being assholes.
then it's not that the people that liked him started being assholes. It's that the
Assholes came out.
The spectrum of people who knew who he was became larger, right? And I think like the same thing happened with Jay Cutler, right? When Jay was taking second to Ronnie, everybody couldn't wait for Jay to fucking beat Ronnie. And as soon as Jay beat Ronnie, they were happy for him for 1 year. The next year he comes in a little off. Everyone's like, Jay's a piece of shit.
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah, he's fat. He's out of shape. He sucks. Go ahead, Martin.
It happened to Phil. It happened to Phil too. Like in the beginning, people are like,
"That's a great example."
The dream killer mentality. That's so sick, and we love that you're a dream killer, and like you're gonna beat Jay. And then as soon as he did, then they're like, "We hate you. You're cocky." Sure.
Yeah, no, it's just, I think people, maybe it's just Ben. Maybe it's just like a subconscious thing. Maybe people just like rooting for the guy coming up rather than the guy who's already on top.
Oh, you know what it is? People don't really like people succeeding.
I mean, that's I've witnessed that myself. So maybe that's it.
They're like, oh yeah, we want to, and then when they actually do, they're like, oh, it makes me feel shit about myself. I haven't done it.
I mean,
there's probably some truth to that to some people. Yeah. Go ahead, Martin. Sorry.
Like the perfect examples, like UFC fighters.
Yeah.
Like when you're like the contender for the title, like everyone loves you, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden when you're Conor McGregor, then people are like, either they love you or they hate you. Like, I feel like when you're coming up, there's like a nice in between that people like to ride.
It's more like you than hate you when you're coming up. Because people are rooting, they're rooting for you to get there. Right.
And then as soon as you get there, then it's like either they love you or they hate you.
Yeah.
And this, you guys know, like bodybuilding is the worst about it, bro. Like today they're your fan and tomorrow.
But guys, that's the thing is, I don't know if it is. I think we as bodybuilders, because we have constant contact with our fans, probably feel that way, right? Because no other sport, like fucking Tom Brady's not on Instagram texting with his fucking fans, right?
Right.
So like, I think as bodybuilders, we have the most contact with our supporters.
And they're not in the practice room, right?
Right.
We're in regular gyms, and like anyone can go be in James's gym and watch him train in Martin's gym.
But I guess if you really think about it, like, have you ever watched one of those like basketball pregame shows? They have these 5 analysts sit at a desk and they just literally shred half the players. This guy sucks this year. This guy can't shoot for fucking shit. This guy, like, I think, and there's way more people watching. So we may have, I don't know, 100,000 people watch bodybuilding, and we have like 10,000 haters. There's like 10 million people watching basketball and 1 million haters. So it's like, maybe I think we're just not used to it, and we're so connected that we feel it more.
Yeah, that's why we have this. I suppose what we have to do is put stuff out, but don't take stuff in too much. Like, it's just that bottom line. Because what bothers you is what you're allowed to bother you, is what I'm trying to say. So you could have 1 million haters, but if you're not someone that even pays attention to anything, you don't even give a fuck. But we do care about how our audience feels, because we're like that as people.
Well, there's no degree of separation, right? Like LeBron James is not fucking, like you said, he's not sitting on his phone, whatever. So there's no separation from it. And then they got so much fucking money because their contracts are enormous. They're not sitting on social media scouring it. They're off actually doing what they need to be doing.
Yeah, well, they don't have to.
So
That's not part of their growth as an athlete or a personality.
Right.
They don't have to be posting all day
I would
long.
say this is like, think about it as far as basketball goes. It's like our sport's subjective. So like,
yeah.
Say you get second, but like, really, like, you're an incredible bodybuilder and you're gonna win the next show that you do next weekend, right? But everybody wants to trash you today because like you couldn't control your waist or something, right? But it's subjective.
Right.
Whereas like in basketball, oh,
yeah,
what the hell?
Yeah, what happened? Are you there?
My computer just went white. I can't see you guys, but
can you see us or no?
You're still there.
I can't see you, but
we can
see you still.
As long as you can see me, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so like basketball though, like think about it like this: is like you do have true stats. So like if you really shit the bed and they're talking shit about you, it's like, yeah, I missed 11 shots. Like
right.
Talk shit. Whereas like in bodybuilding, it's like, bro, I lost one pose to him, and like you guys are saying like I'm a piece of garbage.
Right.
Like, you know, it's just crazy that, like,
you know what you know who gave me the best advice about this, or actually I've just seen talking about, is Seth. When you talk to Seth about this kind of stuff, Seth's like, it's entertainment, man. He's like, people want to root for this guy or hate this guy. Like, that's just like, it's just entertainment to them. It's not personal.
Yeah, I don't think it's personal.
This last year, I kind of started thinking more of it like WWE.
Yeah, just think of it as a sport, period. Like, people just want to root for you or not root for you. It's not like they're not attacking you personally.
100%.
Krazis says, I missed the last live you guys talked about the ticket scalping. I am still really mad. I missed this year. All the tickets were bought in a day and sold for $2,000. Do you know if the O will fix this? They ignored my emails. I don't think so. From what I've heard, all the tickets are gone.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to buy them, they're online for sale, but people are charging.
I actually don't even have a ticket yet, to be honest with you.
Next after this one, I have a couple of people that I want to get rid of tickets that would take care of you. They're VIP ones.
Really? Yeah. Send them my way. I'll buy whatever. This guy asked if I have a filter on. No, I don't have a filter. I shave my head and shave my face, so it looks clean.
Just that pretty.
Okay, I might have a filter, but whatever.
Do you actually fuck off?
No, I don't have a filter. I don't have a filter. I don't have
so that blemish filter on.
A clean Arab skin.
Let's see. Where did okay. James, can you do your hot tub setup for a live?
Oh, I could.
What's your hot tub setup?
So I did an edit when you stream. I basically you had my friend put an overlay on my image that it was me in a hot tub. So I just had my upper body out with no top on, and it looked like I was sitting in the hot tub and I was playing my games, and so it's the hot tub stream. So I will get that going again. Because it looks fucking cool.
Martin is the new Squirt King. Use code FreakWater.
That's hilarious.
I'm not gonna
I did my favorite diet sodas, and that was one of them was Diet Squirt, and people went crazy in the comments, bro.
Diet Squirt.
Is that an actual drink?
Yeah, it is.
No, Diet Squirt.
It's a grapefruit soda. It's delicious.
I can't drink sodas. I can't drink sodas at all.
Michael Holder says, hey, fellas, just giving some props. Got to get back to work. Looking forward to watching this later on. Marine Mike is an avid fan of the show.
Yeah, okay. He's a regular.
Anybody watching who wants to ask a question, go ahead now. I'm going to go through some of this because we're only on for a little bit longer. So if you have questions, drop them now. This guy says, I think Fouad is right. Just want the underdog to win. So the champ and the winners are the enemy. Yes. One thing I want to cover real quick while I'm waiting for questions to come in. Classic. Does anybody think Wesley can win? And obviously, I don't think anybody does, but is he going to beat Ramon again or what? I think Classic's getting interesting. Oh, and this other guy that just showed up too, I want to show real quick. Go ahead, James.
What about Jose? I want to see Jose come in and fucking shake the tree. I love that guy's physique.
I think we need for Classic to change. The absence of Chris is necessary. Until he's gone, the standard's set.
Yeah,
So I just don't know.
but second through 5 can change. So like,
Yeah. But I think
Wait.
I think it'd be
Why
harder
does
for
no one
Wesley
hate-
to play second.
Why does no one hate Chris? What the fuck?
no one hates Chris.
That's what I mean. You just
'Cause
said people hate people winning, but not Chris.
Chris is an anomaly. It doesn't
I
count.
was going to say that someone like Wesley to play second, I think you'd have a harder time placing second. All the while, number one is Chris for some reason. I think once Chris is gone, I feel like the image isn't set, and then maybe you'd have a better chance.
So you think Chris is being there? Wesley's placing hinges on Chris being there, or not?
It doesn't
being
hinge, but I think it has an effect to a degree. Like whoever's Mr. Olympia, I feel like has an effect on how 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 lands.
But I think Wesley's closer to Chris than Ramon is.
I do structurally, but I don't know if they see him there yet.
I see him there. Yeah, they let him. I shouldn't say they let him.
Well,
he beat Ramon in Arnold.
Yeah, but the Arnold. It's true. The heir apparent would be him, but obviously I don't think anyone's touching Chris.
But let's bet on second. Isn't he?
Pull up the list. Pull up the list.
Who's the young kid with the crazy back?
Wait, who's this kid? That I just want to show you guys this kid real quick. 1 sec. Matt Grego. This guy's fucking huge, man.
Yeah.
Is this guy classic or what?
Yeah. Didn't he win Tam?
He won
Tam.
Dude, how does this guy make how does he make weight?
For short.
They're about to drag him down.
No, I don't think he's short.
No, he's fucking like 6'1", 6'2".
Oh, so he's got a good cap.
He's tall, bro. He's like 6'1", probably.
Yeah, he's about my height. He's a touch taller than me.
They also take videos of that moon lighting, bro.
Dude, Martin, this isn't just lighting. Look how big he is.
No, he is a big dude.
Oh no, he's big, bro, for sure. Like I mean, I've seen him in person. I know Grego. I watched him win New York.
Yeah.
But like he's like these pictures are definitely making him look like
yeah. But I mean, even this one's a video.
He's an impressive bodybuilder. Don't get me wrong. Like he could possibly push the top 5, but
can Matt Grego, is it Grego or Grego? Does anybody know?
Grego.
Can Matt Grego beat like Michael DeBull? Because wasn't Michael DeBull like 5th last year?
Yeah, I believe he can.
Yes.
Who was 4th last year?
He needs to be in a little better shape than he was at New York.
What the fuck, dude? Is this like after a cheat meal or something? Why does this?
It's the lighting, bro.
Not look like it's the lighting, right?
Yeah.
MI40, bro. They use that goon ass.
They've got the MI40 is good for lighting.
Yeah. This is him on stage. This is really.
He's impressive, bro. He's very impressive.
Nice physique, dude. Look at this.
He trains with Derek every day, so he's getting pushed and he's working hard.
He's got the good shit.
Yeah, I think Chris coached him, right?
Aceto coaches him, yeah.
So you guys think he can be 5th?
Yeah, top 6.
Range right there, yeah, right around 5th place, yeah.
Who was 4th last year? Mike the Badass, or no? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah.
Does anybody know who was 4th last year?
Yeah.
Urs was 3rd, right? So
Urs was 3rd, Mike Badass was 4th, and Brian was 5th, I think.
That guy looks really good too. Mike the Badass. Let me put his thing because I've seen.
I'm telling you that Jose is going to piss some people off.
Who's Jose?
The Spanish kid with a crazy back.
Yeah, crazy back.
Yeah,
he's
peeled, peeled.
What's his last?
Wait,
let me just look at this.
He is incredibly. His condition is crazy.
Let me just look at this guy real quick, and then we'll check out Jose. So this is Mike. This is Mike the Badass. He looks like he's put on a lot of muscle this year.
Mike's very wide.
Yeah, it's
a lot of width.
Like that's a fucking really impressive physique, man. It's very unique too. It doesn't look like
it's different.
Yeah,
it's kind of like.
I think that's what Chris has going for him. Is he has a unique shape. Seems like this guy kind of has not that he looks like Chris, but he has his own kind of style.
Yeah. It's like round, but like elongated.
Yeah.
Like it's a different type of round.
What's the guy's name you're talking about? Ben?
Jose. Type in Jose, and then it's like Beast.
Oh,
Beast
this guy,
yeah, Jose yeah.
Freaky back.
And this guy's nuts.
He was a bodybuilder last year. He switched.
Yeah, he was open. Yeah.
He definitely switched for the better, man, because he looks way better as a classic guy than he did.
His conditioning is just fucking stupid.
He's young as well, apparently.
He's very young.
Yeah.
It's like 23 or something.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
he won Cali, right?
I don't think his overall shape. Ben, do you think he'll get in the top 5 though?
I think him and Grego might be in that, be comparable.
So like him, Grego, and Michael DeBoule?
I think they might push the ball down, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They got more density to their physiques.
He's still on that.
I think this kid could be the champion in a couple of years if they're not careful.
Yeah, I don't know.
For as young as he is, shit.
How does
how
does Urs stack up to that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Urs beats him, but I think it will be close.
What does Urs beat him on? Legs?
Flow and detail still.
I would say shape and flow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think
look at the condition on this guy is incredible.
Oh, he's peeled to the bone, bro. This kid gets.
Watch this. Oh, you cut.
I'm sorry.
Cut the anus.
You're like, yeah, fuck this guy.
Ben wants to see his asshole. 1 second.
Oh,
look at the back. Look at the back.
Lats in the back. Yeah, fuck, man. Come on.
Look at that.
His back is sick. His back is sick for sure.
He's got good rotation in them fucking delts, isn't he? Fuck me, I'd be like.
That's a good shot right there. Look at that.
Snappy's fucking pec doing it.
Yeah.
Impressive, man.
I think he's got a little missing in the quad density and sweep, but I don't know if he can make weight if he had it.
All right, let's see if I have any questions in here. Mike D gonna have a hard time placing top 8 with all the new talent. Who's Mike D?
Michael DeBoule.
Oh,
yeah. I agree. That's what I see Michael slipping.
Why does eating crappy sometimes give you the most amazing pumps and best workouts? Ben, you want to answer that?
Sodium, carbs, fats, dropping cortisol, all of the above.
Fouad, I'm going to hit 225 for the first time today. Wish me luck. Good luck, man. That's a good mile marker.
It doesn't count if it's nighttime weight, so you've already fucked up. It's got to be in the morning.
I think he means. I thought he was talking about like bench press.
Oh, so I was thinking about body weight.
Well, no, because he's saying "wish me luck," so I thought he meant like he was.
I thought he meant "wish me luck." He's going to be big. He's finally going to be big.
Yeah, if you're talking about your body weight, only morning weight counts.
Sorry, I got it wrong. All the best with your benching. If you're benching,
would you rather be a house husband and still be able to bodybuild healthy up to 60, or win one Olympia and retire from the gym at 25?
Win one Olympia.
That sounds weird. It's a weird.
Yeah, it's not like there's any consequence.
I'd rather win the Olympia and retire at 25, and I can just work out for fun. Martin, what do you think? You want to bodybuild and be healthy?
I would take a stand now, I think.
Yeah. I'm competing tomorrow in one of the biggest natural bodybuilding shows. Well, that's your first problem. The OCB World Championship.
That's your first problem.
The Yorton
you're in the wrong place.
I'm just playing around. The Yorton Cup in women's physique. If I win, will Hostile sign me as a sponsored athlete? We already have one natural kid. That's our limit.
One natural.
We're working on him as well.
We're trying to switch him over.
Trying to switch him over.
Let's take him under our wing. Come join us.
That's fucking hilarious.
A freak. He competes tomorrow,
Just
right?
means you're half committed, right?
Wait, when's this guy competing and when's your guy competing?
Our guy competes tomorrow. Payton.
Yeah. And when's this person competing who's mentioned?
She said she's competing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe they're competing.
You're lucky you're not the same. You're lucky you're the same sex.
It's the OCB World Championships.
The St. Louis Gateway is what Peyton's competing in.
Okay. Hey, James, wondering what your first show was. Most people started at the SOT at the old rundown Camden Town Hall. Atmosphere was always electric at that place, though.
My first show
Dave Thomas. That's who's asking.
Dave, my first show was the Portsmouth South Coast Championships 2008 juniors. That's my first show.
What was it? Your 2008 what?
Junior South Coast.
Okay.
2008?
Yeah, I'm old, bro.
Martin's like, I was only 10.
Motherfucker, I'm old.
I was literally.
I got in this quite young.
James is an OG.
Martin, how old were you when you in 2008?
11.
When were you born? Like 1997?
Yeah.
Dude, I graduated high school in 97. Fuck.
Granted, I was only 18.
Dude, so when I was training with Branch is the exact same age as my dad. And so like, I would sometimes when he would like give me shit in a set, then when he would go, I'd be like, "You're old enough to be my dad, motherfucker. You better beat me."
Yeah.
And he would be like,
"Hey,
fuck you."
Can I ask you something? What was it like? I mean, I know kind of what you're gonna say, but I don't like. What was it like training with Branch? Were you terrified? Were you worried about hurting yourself? Were you like, this is amazing because he's a legend? Like, what was the overarching thought?
All of those.
Yeah, maybe all of the above.
Yeah, probably a little bit of all of the above.
Yeah,
but honestly, I was never too scared of getting hurt with him. Like I've always trained kind of like that. He was a little crazier than me for sure, and he made me do some shit that definitely was. There was some times that I was like, I don't know about this, and he's like, no, you're gonna do it, and you can, and I know you can, and I did it. So he pulled some stuff out of me that I don't know if anyone else could have. It definitely beat the shit out of my body, bro. Like I'm not built for that, and if I was gonna try to do that my whole career, I would have ended up completely destroyed.
You know what's funny about that? You know what's funny about that, Martin? Me and James have talked about this before, and Ben, I've talked about this before. This exact thing that I think if you don't start your career training like that, it's not something you can start doing 10 years later. You know what I mean? Like your body, it's not like something you can just all of a sudden pick up. Like you kind of like, I think your body like adapts to something like that.
Yeah.
Especially the like momentum training of like jerking and shit. Like I had some of that from training like sports wise. So I think that's why I did kind of decent with it and was like still okay and didn't come out with like a lot of injuries and stuff. But I had gone to much more very strict training when Brett and I were in Denver. So then to go back to that, I started getting dings and stuff like that. I'd say like the coolest thing about training with Branch, man, is like no matter what, like I looked up to him so much, I just wanted to make him proud.
Right.
So like when I was training with him, man, like I would do anything my body possibly could to make sure that like when we got done, Branch was like, "You did it today, kid."
I think
like that's a dope feeling, man. Especially like when Branch tells you like you worked your ass off today, you know Branch don't give no pats on the shoulder for no reason.
No. I think all of us respect Branch that way. I think for him to say anything kind about any of us is like
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. This guy asked
my favorite thing.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead, Martin. Go ahead.
My favorite thing he ever said was they asked him what it was like to train with me. And he said, like training with the 20-year-old version of myself.
I think I saw that. Was
that a fucking compliment?
Was that an interview or something? I think I saw that. Yeah.
And then they were like, "And what was that like?" And he was like, "Absolutely fucking hell."
Yeah. Ben, this guy asked, how much cardio would you start someone on coming from an off season doing none? You know what's funny? I'm glad you said that because now I can argue with you. So we just had this conversation on the last podcast. Do you think it's beneficial? Because it's one of the things I did. A lot of guys will start their cardio.
Can you say? No, can I?
You know what I'm going to say? Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Start hard, start early.
Yeah, and then take it it back.
I do like that too. Yeah. It depends on the physique. It depends how much body fat they got.
Well, can you explain what I was going to say just so people know the two options?
You dive deep in it when you're fat, happy, food is high, and you've got a lot of body fat. So that's when you and dig it.
So you'd start with like a 45-minute session or 2 20-minute sessions or something like
Done
that.
that, yeah. Like for Carl, for instance, we started him right off the bat, but like 50 minutes straight off the bat. He had a lot of food. His food was high. He had a lot of energy, and got the ball rolling.
The only reason I like that is I feel like you can hold on to more muscle while your calories are high, while you're chipping away at all the body fat. And then as you get leaner, you can pull back on the cardio and keep your legs fuller and all that kind of thing.
You have to have a physique that can do that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Like we've had many conversations like years ago when cardio conversations, and your body was very cooperative.
Right. Yeah, if you're stubborn, it's a little different. Yeah. According to you, who is the strongest bodybuilder among qualified contenders? I think he means people at the Olympia. It'd be Akeem, no?
He definitely used to be really strong. I don't think he trains like that anymore, but he used to be freak.
Akeem in the legs for sure. Now after his shoulder injuries and that car accident,
he was deadlifting 8 wheels for reps.
Martin, is that something you worry about, or you just lift as hard as you can and not care about that?
We can.
Sure. Honestly, bro, we've tried to turn our training into as much pre-exhaustion as possible to not have to move loads like that. We're still ending up moving crazy loads. But I mean, you guys know at the end of the day, like your muscle doesn't know how much weight it's lifting. It just needs to be exhausted and torn down. So I used to put a lot of emphasis on it, man. I loved being strong. Like I was chasing guys like James, James is freaky.
Right. I know.
Like I don't think honestly, like more weight lifted at this point for me is not more muscle added. I think it's just more risk.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
But if you went back 8 years and reset with a new physique, you'd still lift that heavy shit, right?
100%. No, I mean, I do think that the weight and the heavy shit is built the density and the muscle I have now. But at the point at which the strength I have now, if I tried to continue to push it up, I'm gonna hurt myself.
Yeah, the reason I kind of tried to pull that out of you is because like where I have a lot of young kids coming through and they're consuming like your content now and like Hunter's content and they're refining their training
too soon.
And they're like, yeah, way too soon. They don't have the physiques to do that yet. Like Fouad's gonna smile because he wants to rip a barbell off the ground and row it, right? You got to build you got to build it. You have to build it with a heavy fucking weight. I had a guy, James, an athlete of mine, I won't name him, but he was in when you were in branch were training the other day, and he's like, oh, I feel so disheartened. I'm only bench pressing the 50s and they're doing the 90s. And I was like, they started back there too, mate.
Yeah.
And then, but you gotta don't just settle. That's not your settle point. That's your way up.
Yeah, man.
Right.
And then what you do later is like what Martin says. You get strong that when you do start to really get a bit more specific with your training, you're moving a good amount of weight with good form because the strength you developed in the early years. So yeah, you might not lift as heavy as you used to, but you're lifting a very good amount with really good control and getting a lot out of it.
And yeah, rep for rep, you're now more skillful, Fouad, at recruiting that muscle.
Oh, so mate, you fatigue sooner.
Yeah, you're able to actually stimulate a lot more per rep than you did when you were a rookie.
A bodybuilder that's been doing this a long time can go in the gym and do what 4 sets would do in 1 set.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Like you can really, really nail it.
I think that's more immediately. It's funny you say that. That's what I think it gets lost in translation when you send somebody a program. Like if I write out what I did for chest yesterday, and then some kid that's like 19 that just started working out does what I did, they're like, that's not a hard workout.
It's easy because they can't get there.
Yeah, like there's only like 3 sets per exercise, like 3 exercises, big deal. But it's like it's the way you do it and the way you recruit it, I guess.
The skill.
There's the small amount of skill that's involved.
Love that.
Question, Martin, do you think there's as much skill in bodybuilding as say like gymnastics? Okay, thank you.
I
wait, I didn't either. You switch my words.
I laugh when someone talks to me about what I do with such like high regard, like what we do, because I kind of laugh
I know.
I'm like, guys, it's more just a discipline game. Like,
it is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it doesn't require.
I don't want to say it's a genetic and discipline game, right?
You know, it's funny. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Mike Van Wyck. I'm not sure who said it, but somebody said on the podcast or somewhere that I saw, and they were like, bodybuilding is a challenge, is a game of uh whoever can deal with doing the most boring shit the longest.
Literally.
And that's kind of what it is. It's like the same monotonous fucking shit day after day. And if you can do it and you have the genetics, you'll probably be successful.
But that's the difference between someone that should be good at this and shouldn't. Someone that is good at this enjoys that monotony. Someone who doesn't.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy this monotony, you're not meant to do this.
Right. Question from Tom Porter.
Interesting.
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like this, my dad always says like you're a little on the spectrum because of this, and that's what makes you a good bodybuilder. But it's like most people, normal people, get anxiety thinking about like having to eat 6 meals a day and like timing their entire day out and like having everything planned. But like I'm the complete opposite. Like if you gave me a free day and you're like, eat whatever you want, I'm almost like, what the fuck? Like, because this part of it makes like it is easy to me. It's like it is me, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, is that for you the same way? Do you get anxiety when you don't have a plan and you just like free ball it, I guess, if you will?
If you could hear some of the conversations me and Ben have about food, you'd be like, those guys are fucked. Because ever since I retired from bodybuilding and Ben got away from competing, we're like, and Ben, I don't know, I don't want to throw you into the mix if you don't want to be, but we're like, okay, what the fuck? I'm not going to do 6 meals a day because I'm not bodybuilding. But then I'm like, I'm going to do this perfect bodybuilding diet. But then at the same time, you're like, well, why am I really doing it? I can eat ice cream. It's like it's almost like there's no structure. Whereas
it's torturous.
It's like bowling without the lanes up.
Yeah, like
you just throw the ball anywhere.
The worst part is like if you're sitting there like watching a film where you missed the night and you're like, oh, I'm a little hungry. And you're like, well, I've eaten all my meals. And you're like, yeah, but you're not bodybuilding anymore. You can eat whatever. And you're like, I can eat whatever.
That's right. And your brain
and then you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's just like
no, Martin.
Whatever, the next day you feel like shit.
You know what's funny? You know what's crazy, Martin? When I was doing like 5-6 meals a day or whatever I was doing for whatever plan I was doing, I was like, oh, this fucking sucks. I wish I could just eat whatever I wanted. Blah blah blah. And then once I got the freedom, I'm like, man, I miss having all that structure. It's like it's crazy how it works.
That's why I keep telling people like that are struggling. I'm like, you're gonna miss this. Don't
wait. I would not have a clue what to do.
If
boss was like, be a normal person for a whole week and just like eat 3 meals a day and do like, I would be like, no.
Guys, I got a couple questions. Ian's in the chat, first of all, so fuck you, Ian. Tom Porter says, question: you have to pick one member of the OG Bro Chat crew to be in the center of a bukkake circle. Who do you pick and why? Has anybody here ever been a part of a bukkake?
God, I hope not.
I wish I had. Not that interesting.
I just thought it.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Jesus.
Where's fucking Ian in here talking shit? Hey Fouad, is there a guest you really wanted on the show but never been able to nail it down due to schedule commitments on either part? No, pretty much everybody I've asked to be on has been on. I wanted to get Regan on. Regan came on once and my audio got fucked up and we've never been able to redo it. I always want to get Regan on just to shoot the shit, not because it's anything special, but everybody I've asked to be on has been on. I mean, Dorian was a big one.
I know a couple of people that I won't name because there's probably not.
What? That wanted to be on?
People
that I wanted to have on?
A bit of both, and then came back around and asked you like, "Fuck you." They turned you down in the early days, and then they came back around, and you were like, "Fuck off."
Because I feel like it's disingenuous when I'm like, "You want to come on the show?" And they're like, "The show's not big enough yet, right? It's only been like a year. It was still bigger than most, Like, no, I don't want you to be on your show. And then later they're like,
They had something. They had something they
Yeah.
wanted to promote, and they were like, "Hey, can I come
I know,
on?"
I know, I know who you're talking about. We'll leave that one alone. Question. You have one natty male. Oh, this is for me, I guess. You have one natty male. You need one natural female athlete. I'm a 3-time world champ. This is a really aggressive way to try and get a contract.
Fuck, they're going in.
Listen, I'm going to do the right. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. Ben's the athlete manager. Bother him. Where the fuck is Ian? Oh, Ian Valier. There's 0 skill in bodybuilding. That's for you, Ben. AJ Aesthetic says how to manage blood pressure moving from end of prep transition to off season. Mine always skyrockets even when I do not binge. Ben, any advice on that? Good way to get it. Shouldn't you just take a fucking blood pressure med? Like, isn't that a good preventative measure anyway?
I feel like you should be doing that anyway, probably in a prep. So don't take it out if you are. It depends what you're shifting into. If you're coming off everything, or if you're going to switch to something like EQ, and now your blood pressure skyrocketing, don't use EQ. Like for me, it's like if you have blood pressure issues, there's certain compounds you shouldn't be using. Weight gain is certainly going to do it. Cutting your cardio off is certainly going to do it. Like, how are you transitioning into it? It's not just binges. You just
the cause. What's the cause?
The
cause isn't because you just say one day I'm not competing now. There's a cause. Something you're doing is having an effect. So you're either increasing your calories too quickly and weight's going on too fast, or you're becoming stagnant and not moving, or you're taking some sort of medication supplement that is causing a negative side effect. So you have to look into those.
Or you're doing all three, right?
Yeah.
You're doing a combination of all of those.
Let's get hench quick.
There's so many variables there. You gotta kind of like come out of your prep very slowly and lower cardio very slowly and add food very slowly and in a controlled manner. You should be able to figure out what
I try to now like educate my guys, especially the younger guys, is like you're always in prep for your next show. It's just one has a little more calories in it, one has less calories in it, but you still always, if you're trying to be a competitive bodybuilder, which is what we're talking about here, you're in prep. The day after prep, you're in preparation for your next show. It's just not a hard cut,
Indie Couch VR says, Fouad, my Sportster is dusting your Harley. Also tell Ben sport bikes are definitely above 50%, 51% gay. First of all, you ride a Sportster, so you can't even talk. Second of all, my sport bike will leave you so far behind me, I won't be able to see you anymore. So fuck off. Sorry, that
Martin, was Martin, you ride, right?
Martin, do you ride?
I don't have a bike anymore, but my dad got me a motorcycle when I graduated high school, and I rode the shit out of it, bro.
We got to do a HOSSTILE motorbike.
My dad has the sickest Harley ever. So
what is it? Do you know?
The Street Glide.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is it all done up?
It's all done up, yeah.
Oh, fuck. That's
it's
sweet.
Flat black, got bags and pipes and shit. My dad's bike is sick as fuck, man.
That's fucking sweet.
That's right.
You guys need to speak to Jannika's uncle. Jannika's uncle lives in Norway. He rebuilds all the original bikes. He's got a whole massive fucking workshop. Yeah, like I don't know what the exact job is, but you guys need to communicate.
I don't know anything about old bikes, but I can appreciate them. But
dude, there's some fucking stuff in that shop.
When are you getting your bike? Can we keep talking about it?
Wait, man. Let me get to my new house still. I'm still waiting for my new fucking house.
Can I just ask you something? Are you fucking with me, or are you actually going to get a bike?
No, I need my garage. I don't have a garage, and so I'm still waiting for my house.
Okay.
I can't do nothing if I can't store nothing.
Martin, when are you getting a bike? Or are you going to wait till you retire so you don't hurt yourself?
Yeah, I'll probably wait, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Probably a good idea.
Him and Samson can ride in the
three-wheeler
truck behind.
They can do the three-wheeler. They can ride the three-wheeler.
We'll get the Spider.
I got the Spider you can ride, yeah. Martin, can you talk about your background in pharma? Can you give us a breakdown of your background? Did you go to pharmacy school?
Yeah, that's it. So is there a pharmacy school, or is that a stupid comment? Yeah, no, it's a doctorate. It's a
Okay.
doctorate program. You
Okay.
have to apply. It's like becoming a doctor or a dentist or something like that.
Okay.
So most people go get a 4-year degree and then go into pharmacy school. I was one of those nerds that's actually very good at school. So I got into pharmacy school in 2 years. I was still on the college track team. So my goal was really to get a doctorate degree while college track paid for everything.
Okay.
So I fast tracked the program. I got in. I did 2.5 years in pharmacy school. So I pretty much got through all the education of medicine, all of the physiology, most of the biochem, most of the pathology, those type of things. And then really the last 1.5 years is working in a pharmacy, being an intern, all of those type of things. And
Yeah.
I got to that point, realized I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
The actual pharmacy.
It's a good living though, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's $250,000 a year to work at Walgreens. You know, it's 4 days a week. It's great. I mean, it's a great living and stuff. But I honestly, I looked at it. I was right at the point where I was starting to have success in national bodybuilding shows. And I said to myself, like, if I make it in bodybuilding,
yeah,
I'm not going to use this degree at all. Should I spend the $100,000 in student debt and probably never use this degree again? So I kind of sat back and said, like, I can always go back to pharmacy school, but I can't always get $100,000 out of debt if I decide to do it and can't use it or whatever. So I just said, you know what? I believe in myself. I think I can be a good pro bodybuilder. And that's when I left pharmacy and went and worked construction until I went professional.
Yeah, dude.
Well, believe, man.
This guy's says pharmacy school is extremely hard. Props to Martin. I didn't realize I didn't realize you were an academic. I fucking hated school. James, you weren't a school guy either, were you?
No, I was on the back of the classroom for the last 2 years of school.
Ben, were you a school guy? Ben, were you a school?
Yeah, I graduated.
I know you graduated what?
Human bioscience.
Yeah, but did you graduate like barely or did you graduate like easily?
2-1.
What is that? A 2-1. That's like barely.
No. You have first, 2-1, 2-2, third, fail.
Oh, okay. So you're like not bad.
So you're like B student.
Man, I didn't give a fuck.
Are you a B student because you didn't give a shit, or are you B student like you tried your hardest and still were a B student?
No, I wish I could go back and try.
Yeah, I didn't try at all. I hated fucking school.
Same.
I was the asshole. Like, I was sitting in the back of the class watching bodybuilding videos, and then they would be like, Martin, we know you're watching a bodybuilding video, and ask me a question, and I'd be like, yeah, it's this, and then go back to watching my video, and they're like, fuck. Like, he was paying attention, but he's not paying attention. I was that asshole. I would get A's on the test, never show up to class. So, like,
you were that guy. I hated that guy.
I was A's, like straight A's all the way until university, and then there was some alcohol involved and partying, and then I was like, yeah.
Dude, I had friends in high school and college that were like Martin, that were like,
yeah,
they would party and they'd fucking hang out. Next thing you know, they're getting A on the test. I'm like, how? How did you do that?
My fucking sister's like that. She come up and be like, I failed that. I think I failed, and she got like a fucking distinction with honors. I'm like, fuck you. It's not even close to failing, dickhead. Like,
so I was like, in high school, I was that kid that I was so smart that in my geometry class, my teacher thought I was cheating because I was getting hundreds on every test. So one test, he makes me sit at his desk and looks over my shoulder the whole time. And so I go through this whole test, and then I'm like, on this last question, this is the answer I know you want, but you wrote the question wrong, and this is the actual answer. So then he like goes through it. He's like, fuck, you got 100, and the last question has to become extra credit because it's like wrong. so that I get over 100. And then my 3 buddies that always sat next to me, like one on each side of me and one behind me, all got like 50% when they would get like 90s all the other time. Like, what the fuck? And then he's like, oh, they were all cheating off of you.
I was never that guy. Fuck.
Yeah, school was easy. I enjoyed it, honestly.
I lived in my head too much. I was always in here, never in here.
I would honestly go back to school, to be honest. I really enjoyed learning to be.
Oh man, I started getting drunk and smashing pussy. That was the best. Oh, that was old times.
That part of college was fun too, for sure.
Fuck man, those were the times.
Oh, okay. The chat seems to be full of douchebags. I just blocked Muscle Discord from it.
Why? What did Muscle Discord do today?
Oh, he's a douche. That guy's a little fucking douchebag.
What did he say?
Yeah, what did he say?
Oh, dude, what didn't he say? He's just a little cunt.
Yeah. Well, he's probably mad too because I haven't blocked, so he's a little butthurt at me. So
it's whatever. It's completely irrelevant. Okay.
Did you block Ian yet? Fuck that guy.
I blocked Ian too because he's just
fucking shit hair and
just fucking his fake hair. Martin, thank you for coming on 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
We're done for the day. Anything you want to say before we go? I don't know if you're going to be on again before the Olympia, because I don't want to bug you when you're 2-3 weeks out.
We should do a Olympia podcast.
What do you mean? What do you mean? The week of?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just show up in Martin's room like the day before the show.
I bet you he'd be fucking okay with it.
I love this, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm stoked for this whole thing, bro. This is gonna be awesome. Watch HOSSTILE take over the whole world. So, but no, man, this has been awesome, and I love coming on here and just talking shit. I love chatting bodybuilding, and this is fun. So, anytime, whether we're 2 weeks out or whether we're in the middle of off season, bro, I'll chat bodybuilding even when I'm tired and exhausted and no food, none of that shit. I don't care. I love this stuff, man.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for coming on, James and Ben. I'll probably see you guys next week.
Yeah, man, I'm around.
All right, boys.
Come in.
We'll talk to you soon. Have a good week.